that in some parts of Nigeria, and I can be fact-checked, people are becoming so disillusioned with government. And let us be also very frank about the state governors. The state governors are also culprits. They have failed woefully in running their states. It's not just an issue of the federal government. To the extent that people have resorted to, out of confusion, out of dejection and frustration, to start looking up to the bandits and the terrorists as their safe havens. They are beginning to listen to them. Yes. I can tell you there are areas where they are arbitrating, where they are mediating.
The bandits.
The bandits.
Yes.
They are beginning to recognize them, to have conversation with them offline, to say, you know what, we don't want problem. Please let us live.
What do you want?
They share the proceeds of their farm with them. Yes. They pay them taxes. And they even give them some level of protection from other factions of this banditry. This is the reality, ladies and gentlemen. It is so bad that there are some part of Zamfara and some part of Northwest where the bandits will go to a family house, tell the man to release his daughters, for them to take them into the bush and use them and rape them and bring them back for safety. Otherwise, they will kill everybody and go with the people. This is how bad things are. I don't know what Mr. President is hearing. I don't know what the NSA and others are hearing. But what I know for a fact is there is nobody that will pretend they don't know what is happening in Nigeria, because we have extended families, we have brothers and sisters. And I know for a fact Mr. President in 2013, in 2014, criticized the government of President Goodluck Jonathan, called him incompetent and visionless, and that the inability to allow to get back the Chibok girls meant that he should resign. Yes. And to the extent that he said, in fact, the government was lying and denying reality. It sounds like deja vu for me, Mr. Onoja. Yes. That now the same government is refusing to listen to some of us that speak truth to power. That even when the incumbent does right, we encourage them. That we advise them when it is okay. That we are known to be neutral in this issue, but for the purpose of the progress of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they live in that denial. It appears in this country, the political class choose what to believe in and what not. But the issue is this. The opposition political parties don't matter anymore. The anger, building into the minds of Nigerians due to cost of living, due to insecurity. I told you. And what it means is
as fans celebrate championships in New York City and the World Cup captures the world's attention, dozens of Nigerian school children are marking their 30th day in captivity. Fans of the New York Knicks are still celebrating their team defeat of the San Antonio Spurs last night to win the NBA championship. It is the first time the Knicks have lifted the trophy in 53 years. Meanwhile, the 2026 FIFA World Cup has kicked off across Mexico, the United States, and Canada. 48 nations are battling through the group stage for a chance to advance to the knockout rounds of the world's biggest sporting event. It is 7 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, 8 p.m. in Nairobi, Kenya, and 2 p.m. in New York City. Wherever you are joining us from around the world, welcome to another edition of 90 Minutes Africa. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. While millions celebrate sporting triumph, many families in Nigeria are living through a different reality. Today, heavily armed bandits handed over the body of retired Army General Rabe, who died in captivity, for burial. At the same time, kidnapped teachers and school children in Oyo State have now spent 30 days in the bush. On 90 Minutes Africa today, we welcome historian and public intellectual, Dr. Wunmi Akintide, for a critical conversation on the fast expanding insecurity threatening the southwestern part of Nigeria. Dr. Akintide brings not only scholarly depth, but also a unique connection to Yoruba history and leadership. His grandfather, Deji Adesida I, ascended the throne as the 41st Deji of Akure in 1897 at the age of 64 and reigned for another remarkable 64 years until 1957, making him the longest reigning Deji in Akure's history. Dr. Akintide chronicled that extraordinary legacy in his acclaimed biography, The Lion King and the Cubs, a biography of Deji Adeshida I, a sweeping account of the monarch many regard as the pioneer architect of Akure's golden century. As kidnappings, killings, and fear spread deeper into Nigeria's southwest, what went wrong? Can the region reclaim its reputation as one of Nigeria's safest zones? And what lessons from history can help chart a path forward? Now, stay with us as we invite to the show Dr. Wunmi Akintide. Dr. Wunmi, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rudy. I'm glad to be here. And we planned to have this about 2 weeks ago or thereabout, but it didn't work out. But now I'm glad that everything seems to be working out very well.
Yes. Thank you so much for making it and staying with us. It wasn't easy, but we're happy that you're here, and we're happy that we are going to learn a lot from your wealth of knowledge and history of Nigeria. So thank you so much for being here. Let me start with the stories in the news. You are in New York, I think. You're in New York. You're a New Yorker.
Yes, I'm in New York.
And everywhere in New York, everybody's people are happy. Everybody, they breath. It's amazing. I was out there. People were not thinking about. There was nobody who was frowning their faces. People are still celebrating, coming out from parties because the New York Knicks won the NBA championship for the first time in 53 years. Where were you? Did you watch?
Yes, of course. I watched the game. In fact, I must confess that everything seems to be coming out well for me in this last 1 week.
Wow.
Yes, because I came to this country for my postgraduate studies at the University of Connecticut in 1983. At that point, it was 10 years when Knicks or New York ever won the basketball championship. So, and since for the 43 years I've been here, I've been hoping and waiting that this day will come. But it finally came.
Wow.
Thank God for it. And I thank God that I'm still alive to witness it. Like three things are really working together for me. In Nigeria, just on June 12th, they celebrated Democracy Day. A lot of people don't know what Democracy Day means in full. What it actually signifies is that we now have a situation where the myth that only the Northerners can produce the president in Nigeria, that myth was broken on June 12th by MKO Abiola, who won not only in the South, but also in the North. So what we are celebrating is not just that we embrace democracy. We are celebrating the fact that that myth that everybody was thinking about, that an element of the North thought that it was their right to rule Nigeria forever, that myth was broken that time. The celebration came on. And MKO Abiola happened to be the sacrifice to make that happen. We thank God for that.
We are going to get into that when we talk about Nigeria and the stories in the news in Nigeria. But let me ask you, also going on in America and Mexico and Canada is the World Cup. Are you watching?
I'm watching the World Cup, but I'm not as... I love the World Cup because soccer was a game to begin with. But because they don't score, I mean, if you have two good teams, they can play for 2 hours and not a single goal. I'm beginning to hate that. I don't like that. I want action.
You've been Americanized now, because if you watch football or basketball, American football or basketball, you get used to having scores.
Yes. So I love that. Because of that, if I have to choose between soccer and basketball, and if they come on the same time, I'm going to choose basketball because there's action there, like we saw yesterday. Now, so I guess what is your question?
No, there's no question. I wanted to know whether you were watching, and also we know that Nigeria did not make it to this World Cup. Nigeria did not qualify, and the other African countries,
which is unfortunate, and we understand a country cannot be in the kind of dire situation we are in, and it will not affect some of our sportsmen and players. It has to. So I'm not totally surprised in a situation whereby you cannot even travel from Lagos to Ibadan at 8 o'clock. I hope to get there. If some of these sportsmen who represent us are going to go for practice, they cannot even easily go without any problem. So I can understand why Nigeria did not make the game this time. But hopefully, Nigeria will survive. We are hoping and praying that Nigeria will survive. But before Nigeria survives, we have a whole lot of work to do.
Is there any African team that you are supporting?
Well, Ghana. I'm supporting Ghana. I don't know why. Maybe because it's near to us. I used to support South Africa, but I don't like what is happening in South Africa right now. And so my emphasis has shifted from South Africa. But I like Rwanda, where Kagame is doing some good work. But then, Kagame is too small, and Kagame doesn't care too much about sports. He cares about rebuilding his country, and once the place is rebuilt, maybe he can pay more attention to sports right now. So my answer to your question is Ghana. I'm rooting for Ghana, which I know best.
So there was a game that was played yesterday. I think it was the opening game in Mexico, where Mexico played. They played South Africa.
Yes.
And something unusual happened. Nigerians were supporting Mexico.
Yes.
They didn't want South Africa to win.
Yes.
Let me play you a video.
We're Nigerians, but we live in England. Nigerian. Yeah. All up in Mexico. We're Mexico. Mexicans today, man. Yes. Let's go, Nigeria. Woo!
So Nigerians supporting Mexico because of what is going on in South Africa. What do you feel about that?
I feel good about it because Nigeria has always been good to South Africa. In fact, South Africa will not defeat apartheid without the support of Nigeria. I was in government. I was in the public service during the time. In fact, once upon a time, at that time, the corner piece of Nigerian foreign policy was supporting countries like Africa, Congo, and all these people struggling for independence, for autonomy. That was what we were spending all our money upon. Only now to see South Africans taking out Nigerians, disgracing them and killing them, and asking them to go back to their country. Where does that come from? Me, as a person, I don't like that. I don't like that. In fact, I'm glad that South Africa lost. Yes, they should lose. Because if you don't know how to show gratitude, then you have a problem. You have something coming. So I was with the Nigerians who were cheering for the opposite, whereas they should be cheering for the African team, really. But,
did you say you were in South Africa when you were in government?
Yes, I visited Johannesburg and Cape Town a few times. And but that was during the time of Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela was a very reasonable man and a very grateful man because he told the whole world, when he told the whole world after becoming president, and some elements of Americans were opposed to him going around and going to places like Cuba and going to places like Nigeria. And they said, why? He gave them an answer they will not forget in a hurry. He said, look, those who were with me when the going was bad, how would I now abandon them and then start going to people who did not support? He said, but for God and all these countries, Fidel Castro of Cuba, Nigeria, and all his leaders, he said, maybe South Africa would never have been free from apartheid. So they gave it, I think it was one George Will or somebody who asked that question. And he put him to shame with the kind of answer that he gave that day. So I know South Africa. I know the place is a beautiful country, but it's beautiful because the white apartheid people made it so. South Africa should even thank God that the whites ruled there for some time before they took over. Because the way they are going, I think South Africa has a lot of problems. They have to have a change of mind if they are to fulfill the destiny of that great country.
What happened to South Africa? How did it turn out to be what it is today, especially in relationship with other African countries? Do you know?
It all hinges on leadership. That's the answer to your question. When you have an English or some of these half-baked leaders like Jacob Zuma, you cannot compare that man with Madiba and Nelson Mandela. No. Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in jail, Robben Island, came out of that place and was the person asking the country not to take vengeance on those who had opposed them. They should treat them as South African citizens, just like that. It's going to be very rare to find another leader like Nelson Mandela, and to some degree, Tom Mbeki too. Yes, well, Ramaphosa, the man that is there now, I don't know what kind of thing he's doing, but what is happening under his regime is bad enough. I'm disappointed. I thought he was going to take some useful lessons from Mandela and be a better president.
All right, let me bring in Mr. James. He has a question for you on South Africa before we go to other topics which we are going to touch. Mr. James, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you so much indeed. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, the case of South Africa, I think we are a bit too harsh on them. I'm not supporting what is going on, but we should see things from their perspective. Okay. Majority of the people who are demonstrating were born after 1994. Okay. They never witnessed apartheid. They call them born frees. And secondly, while we were assisting them financially, the people in South Africa did not know what was going on because they were cut off from the outside world. They were not receiving our radio reception and television receptions. They were in the prison yard.
Okay.
So while we were helping Thabo Mbeki and his guys in the ANC, PAC, and other political parties, they never knew. At the end of apartheid, they saw us pouring into their country. Okay. We cannot blame them because Thabo Mbeki and his guys, they did not tell them what African countries did for them. They kept it secret up to now. So okay. This is the root cause of the matter.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm not justifying what they are doing because let me make one point. Samora Machel of Mozambique died in a plane crash.
Right.
He went to Zambia over this South African problem. On his way back, there's a rumor that the plane was shot by apartheid authorities or they jammed the radio communication. So the man died in a plane crash for the people of South Africa.
Yes. Yeah.
And Nelson Mandela married his wife, Gracia Machel.
Well, I like what you are saying.
Yeah, so the people of South Africa should understand that people died. In fact, a president died for them. It's not the president who died. It is Mozambique. Mozambique as a country died for them.
Okay, what I'm saying is that they said ignorance in law is not an excuse. That people don't know, you cannot cite that in law because this is part of what you get when our leaders stop this idea of teaching history in most of our tertiary institutions and universities. How can you, if you don't know where you are coming from, it becomes that much difficult to know where you are going. So that somebody, even in Nigeria, can you believe it that there are some elements in the North who said that history should be taken out of the curriculum? That is exactly what they are doing, because if they allow history to be taken away from the curriculum, in another 10 years, 20 years, the generations of Nigerians will not even know, the young ones like you and others and people coming after you, we will not even know what Nigeria has done and what contributions Nigeria has made. So the problem that South Africa is facing today is partly because they are not students of history. And their leaders, you have to blame their leaders for that. The young ones, they are not the ones who make up the curriculum. I just guess that if what you are saying is true, it is because those young ones have not been educated about who helped them to become the country they became today. Yeah.
All right, Mr. James, thank you so much. I will bring you back when we have questions with everybody else. Dr. Wunmi, we're going to move a little bit now to talk about Nigeria. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here with Dr. Wunmi Akintide, who is a historian talking about the state of the nation, the state of Africa, and the world. So, Dr. Wunmi, you mentioned June 12th at the beginning. We just marked that milestone in Nigeria, and people have been all over the country. They've been asking about, what's so important about this democracy? Has this democracy served me? What has the democracy done for me? Where were you on June 12th?
On June 12th, I was already here.
Oh, you were here?
I was here, but I followed closely what was going on.
Okay. Do you think that democracy has served us well?
To the extent that we have not had another military coup in Nigeria for 27 years or thereabout, I think it has served us well. That is my own opinion. It does not mean that I'm acknowledging the fact that we don't have hiccups. We have a lot of problems, especially the problem of insecurity right now, which is the most serious. In fact, if we are not careful, we may not have a country. We may not have a country in a few years if something concrete is not done to address this problem. So my idea is that June 12th, in as much as it serves as a marker to tell those who are ruling us before them that leadership has to rotate between the South and the North. And that was the merit of what we're having now. Otherwise, a person like Tinubu would never have been president. So the mere fact that Tinubu, a Southerner, a Yoruba man, is president today is something to write home about as far as I'm concerned. Because the way the country was designed, it wasn't meant for Southerners to become president in Nigeria. But Tinubu, you have to give him credit. And that's why I give him credit. He has a lot of faults. But whatever he did that worked for him to become the president of Nigeria and to have ruled now for 3 years, I give him some credit for that. It doesn't mean that I'm supporting all his policies, but I think we should praise that because he was a giant to have done that. Because if you know the Northerners, and you don't blame them too, because we're all Africans. Northerners believe that Nigeria was handed over to them on a platter of gold by Felix Lord Lugard in 1914 when they did the amalgamation. So they thought it was their country and nobody else. But June 12th made it sink into their brain that Nigeria was not their farmland. No. Everybody was on its own. The Yorubas had their own kingdom. The Igbos, the predominant tribe there too, had their own southeast. So, but it was Lord Lugard who thought it might be better to merge both the South and the North into one country. And he did it for a very selfish reason. He did it so that the resources coming out of the South can be used to feed the North, because the British did not want to spend their own money funding Nigeria at the time. So Lord Lugard made a suggestion that it would have been better to merge both the North and the South, so that the British will be relieved of having to spend their money to maintain that country. The great problem was from Lord Lugard. But after our people took over, we ought to be able to let the Northerners, not all of them, not all Northerners are thinking that way, that they own the country. But there's a powerful element that thinks that way, the Fulanese. There is a powerful element within them that think they own Nigeria. But MKO Abiola, to his everlasting credit, was able to prove to them that they don't own Nigeria, and he won the fairest and the most free election in Nigerian history. Now, they did not want to accept it at that time, but now they have accepted it. They now knew everybody, including Babangida himself, who are not the election. They now knew that MKO won that election, free and fair. So, and they are now honoring him posthumously. But there are lessons to learn from that. So June 12th is a marker, and it's something that we should all pay attention to as we now get back the study of history into the curriculum of Nigerian schools and universities. Yeah. If we begin to do that, then the country is going to self-correct. But the younger generation have to know what is going on, what we did before, what led to this, and so on. And I guess if we restore history, the study of history, and we have so many wonderful historians in Nigeria, starting from Kennedy Dike, who was the first VC of the great University of Ibadan, and professors like Saburi Beobaku, who was my teacher. I learned history. I did my pupillage under Professor Saburi Beobaku, and so on. And so many other historians, Pius Igbafe, Akin Jogbin, Sam Ade Ajayi from Ikole. So many of them. We have so many historians. I don't know what our people are thinking. If you now abolish history from our curriculum, then what is going to happen to so many Nigerians who have studied history and have become professors? What is going to happen to them? Is there going to be any future for them? So, but those who are trying to replace history, to knock it out, they were not thinking of the best interest of our country. That's what I think.
So, did you watch President Bola Tinubu's speech on Democracy Day?
I did.
No, you didn't watch it?
I did watch it.
You did? Okay. So he said something, and I wanted to bring that to your attention, and just to get an idea of what you think about that.
Okay.
He said that every great nation was built by those who stayed to solve problems, not by those who abandoned ship.
Yes.
Do you feel that you abandoned ship?
Really, when I listened to that portion, I laughed. I said, I thought he was talking to me and people like me, but I don't consider myself as jumping the gun or checking out of Nigeria for no reason. After putting in 25 years in the Federal Public Service of Nigeria, I thought I had enough. And I knew I have some talent that can work very well in other countries. And being that I did my postgraduate in America, I saw something good in America. And I knew that they appreciate because they know that I was in Nigeria. In my program, I did well in the program, and they honored me for doing well. So I thought that if I return to America, I would be better appreciated. So after giving 25 years of my time, my prime, I decided to check out and to come to America. So maybe the president was talking to me. He too checked out at one point. He was in Chicago. He came to Chicago State University. I met him there. So, but he went back home. But after giving 25 years of my life, I think I've done my bit. And I will encourage others. I watched that speech and I thought he was talking to me. But I didn't feel any guilt because I did the right thing. As soon as I got here, I just decided things were not even as bad as it is now in Nigeria. I brought all of my 8 children, and they are all here, all settled. in places of something. I thank God for that. So I listened to that speech. It was the president was saying the same thing that people, because I was a speechwriter myself. Sometimes most of what he's saying is not his thought. Somebody wrote that speech for him and he read it. That was what happened. I used to write speeches, so I know what is involved. So that was exactly the situation. And in my own case, I was lucky to serve with Obafemi Awolowo. I wish I had served with people like Nnamdi Azikiwe, but they were too old for me. But I got a rare luck of being posted to serve as the secretary to a panel where Obafemi Awolowo was the chairman of that panel. Shehu Jagari was a member of that panel. Chetima Ali Moguno, as Minister of Trade, was a member. Chief Wenike Briggs of Rivers was Minister of Education. He was also a member. I was the secretary to that panel. And that was how I came close to some of the makers of Nigeria. 4 of them, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Shehu Jagari, Chetima Ali Moguno, and Wenike Briggs. So I took my time. In fact, those people, especially Obafemi Awolowo, fired my imagination to want to be anything I became. In fact, it was because of him that I went back to America to.
Okay, you're muted, Dr. Wunmi. You're muted. I think you accidentally muted yourself. Don't lose. Okay, yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was because of that I went back to school. Went to the University of Connecticut. Spent some time at the Institute of Public Administration in London, Mableton Place in London, and some time in Cambridge University. And finally, I went to Yeshiva Jewish University of New York because I wanted to know what makes the Jews so great. I thought by going to their school, I might be able to learn something from them.
Did you find out?
Yeah?
Did you find out what made them great?
Yes, I found out. I found out one of the things that make the Jews great is unity. They work together, collaboration. Nobody does it better than the Jews. That's what they do. If you find, I'm surprised that Elon Musk, of course, I don't think he's Jewish, but I understand he came from South Africa. The Jews have a way of doing things, and I learned so much from them. In fact, I was the Carl Icahn Fellow from 1991 to 1993 in that university. That gave me the opportunity to get to know the Jews better. And that's why today I'm living in a Jewish neighborhood. You would think that I'm a Jew myself because I live where, and it was through them that I got to know about this apartment where I'm staying right now. So the Jews, what makes them great is because they love themselves, no matter what. I was listening to Rahm Emanuel, the former mayor of Chicago, and I listened to Bernie Sanders, who is a Polish Jew. All of them are the same thing. They can criticize, but when it comes to getting together and working together in collaboration, nobody beats them in the whole world. And why would they not be like that? Because they've always lived with persecution all their life. They were driven out of their homeland. They went to other places and distinguished themselves. And then they were lucky again that they sided with the Allied powers. So the Allied powers made a pact to send them back. In fact, part of their luck was that the Jews were not sent back to Uganda. Uganda was the first suggestion that they wanted to send them to. Before the Jews said, no, we have some historical connection with the Middle East, where Jerusalem is, and some of these holy cities, Bethlehem, Nazareth, and all of that. So they said they would prefer to go to their former homeland that was justified by the Bible. That was why they rejected going to Uganda. We would never have heard about Idi Amin Dada at all, because if they have taken over Uganda, Uganda would have been top of the world today because they would have changed the whole place. So that was what I went to do. I was the only, in my set, I was the only black in my class for that particular year. But they did not discriminate against me. I did well, and some of their professors, like Professor Norman Tokeya, Professor Seidman, those are my mentors, and they are still helping me till tomorrow. So what makes the Jewish great is because they have a unique sense of their own destiny. But in spite of that, you'll be surprised, because that was something I found out too. I said in Nigeria, we didn't know Jesus. Jesus was never born in a place. Nobody knew him. He didn't live there. But we worship him. But these Jews, you would think that all of them will be worshiping Jesus. No. They recognize that he was one of the prophets. Till tomorrow, they are expecting that the Messiah is still coming. So when I got there, because I visited Israel more than 3 times, 2 times when I was in government, and 1 time on a holy pilgrimage. So I went to see all of the holy places, including the Holocaust, the Holocaust memorial. Wonderful people, wonderful. And I will always be grateful to them. They gave me a scholarship. I used scholarship to do my course there, and I obtained another master's degree in psychology, clinical psychology, and social work. So,
okay. All right. Let's get back to the speech of the president. There's a part of it that I want you to tell me what you think.
Okay, I've told you about the first one, though.
Yeah. So this part, he said this, at a time like this, let us not assign blame. He was talking about insecurity in the country. So he said, at a time like this, let us not assign blame or point fingers. Crime has no ethnicity. We must stay united and be assured that the enemies of our nation shall soon be history.
Okay.
He went on to say, let us move forward together, rejecting division, cynicism, and despair. Embrace unity, hope, and confidence.
Okay.
What do you make of that as a former speechwriter?
I made a lot of that as a former speechwriter. If I was writing that speech, I most certainly would have said something like he said. But if you have a leader who is very strong, like Obafemi Awolowo, under whom I served, sometimes you are writing a speech for Obafemi Awolowo. You think that Obafemi is going to read that speech? You deceive yourself. I'll give you an example. The president said what he said because it was in his draft, and he had to read it. Okay. But I'll give you an example. Once upon a time, I was asked to write a draft of the speech that Chief Obafemi Awolowo was going to read at a convocation of the University of Ife, which was later named after him. Now, it was a convocation, the first convocation, I think it was in 1974. So myself and the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Finance, Abdulaziz Atta, I think is the first son or Pala of Atta of Igbira land. He too went to Cambridge. He was the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance. And there's one a year, that's one Hausa, Saleh, Aminu Saleh, yes. Aminu Saleh was his deputy. So we all went. I was there. Chief Obafemi was there. But before we left for that convocation, I was asked to draft the speech that Obafemi Awolowo, as the commissioner for finance and the deputy chairman of the executive council, will read. So I was scared because I know that Awolowo was too brilliant. He has written so many books. I said, how am I going to satisfy this person? And as a speechwriter, you have to put yourself in the mindset of the person for whom you are writing the speech. You have to understand that person and what he's thinking. And I thought I understood Awolowo a little bit. So I wrote my speech based on, in fact, I consulted with some of my friends to help me. What do I say? So all I was writing in that speech was to say, well, to the graduating class, we congratulate you for a job well done, but you should regard your training here as a BA, begin again, because there's still a lot you are going to learn. That was the substance of the speech that I drafted. I said a few other things, and I submitted my draft to the permanent secretary, to the deputy permanent secretary, Aminu Saleh. I don't know if he's still alive. He read it. He didn't change a word in it. He passed it on to Abdulaziz Atta, who was the permanent secretary at Cambridge product. He too read it. I think he made 1 or 2 minor amendments. and he sent it to the commission, to Obafemi Awolowo himself. Obafemi Awolowo took the speech. He wrote on the draft, "Thank you for a beautiful draft." And he sent it back the chain of command. So I saw it. And I was rejoicing. I said, "Oh my God," I told all my friends, I said, "Oh, you are going to hear me." You are going to hear me at the convocation. Because that speech that Awolowo is writing, I was the one who prepared the draft. So we went to that convocation with the mindset that Awolowo was going to read our speech. When we got there and it was introduced, Yakubu Gowon, who was his boss, was there at the convocation. And two presidents, Leopold Senghor of Senegal and Sir Eric Williams of Trinidad and Tobago, they were all there to get honorary degrees. And in fact, the whole world press was there. We didn't know that Awolowo had his own plan. So when they introduced him, they said, "Now we call on the chancellor to come and address the congregation." I sat next to Aziz Atta. I was feeling confident. I was so happy that they were going to hear what I said today. When he got there, you know, the man did not use a word, not one word from a draft. He wrote his own speech. And the speech he wrote was that the 1973 census, which made Kano twice the population of Kano, more than twice the population of Lagos, he said that census is dead on arrival and will not stand. That was the whole speech. By the time he finished, after about 1.5 hours, oh my goodness, the whole world, if you throw a needle, you will hear the sound. That was how Awolowo managed to scrub that census. So a few months later, when Murtala Muhammad and this same Obasanjo got to power, the first thing they did was to follow the advice of Chief Obafemi Awolowo by saying that that census has to be annulled, and it was annulled. So I guess what I'm telling you was that the speech that President Tinubu read, with due respect to him, he was only reading the speech that was prepared for him by whoever drafted it. I don't know. Maybe it's one of these people drafted it. So if he had put his own input into it, what he's saying would have been slightly different. I don't agree with him that terrorism has no ethnicity. It has. What are you talking? Terrorism has no ethnicity. We know who are the people doing it. So what I was disappointed with that speech because he did not tell us what his government was going to do. Because it should have told us that to begin with, we are going to identify those who are behind this terrorism and name them to the public and do the right thing and charge them without regard to any influence they may have in government. A person, if I was writing that speech, a name like Gumi would have appeared in my draft. Because Gumi came out to say that I'm the senior advocate. We have senior advocate of Nigeria. That's a lawyer. But Gumi was senior advocate of terrorism. That's SAT. So we have SAT. This SAT came out to say, I am the advocate for these people. We should treat them with kid gloves because they will be repentant. Who tells you that? And not only repentant, he even went on to say that they are brothers and sisters. Those are his brothers and sisters, not mine. They are not my brothers and sisters. And I'm sure these are danger to the republic. If we don't do something about that and deal with them the way it should be done, the country will not stand. That is my position. So I listened to the speech. A part of it was okay, but there are certain things it should have said. It should have put its own imprimatur as president. I didn't see that. So I was disappointed with that.
Okay, thank you so much. He also mentioned names of people who will receive a national honor for their contribution to democracy.
Okay.
I didn't see your name there.
But my name will never be there. If you are you are joking, Rudy. How would my name
But there are Dr. Akintide, there were some names that were missing that people observed. So one of them was Femi Ojodu, who was one of the founders of the news magazine.
Yeah.
He founded the news with Bayo Nanoga.
Yes.
But Bayo already got national honor, but Femi was not mentioned.
Well, that is part of their problem. These people are crazy. It's going to put the people who are favorable to APC, which is nonsense. When you are ruling the whole of Nigeria, you can't be talking about APC alone. APC alone, you have to think of others who are nation builders. If I was writing that speech, your name would probably be there. You and Omayele, because I know the two of you the best. I served under you, the two of you, Omayele Jowore and Rudolph Okonko, Dr. Damages. It will be there because I know what you did and what you are still doing. But that is part of the problem our leaders have. They don't know what. Sometimes I feel disappointed because sometimes somebody like the president, he actually went to Chicago State University. I met him there because he was a good friend of mine, Tony Obe, who died. Tony Obe is dead. It was in company of Tony Obe that I met this Tinubu. I could never have believed in my life that person would be president of Nigeria. But I guess his destiny has made him what he is. And I don't begrudge him for that.
Yeah.
There are a few things he's doing that I will not do. And that I will advise him. I want him to succeed. And I want people to judge him based on what he has done, if he can prove it. It's unfortunate that he cannot even articulate what he has done. He doesn't even have the language to articulate it, which is a pity. But I don't want people to just condemn him without looking, what have you done? Prove it to us. If you have done something worthwhile, I will support your election. But if you don't, I'm sorry. I mean, there are better candidates that can do better than you. Why force yourself on the people? That is my idea. But it's a crazy idea. People like me, they will even recommend people like me to come out in the list that they provided because they would think that I'm against the president. I'm not against him. All I'm saying is that it should do the right. It should do the right thing, and if it does the right thing, it should be supported. That is my position.
Yeah. Okay. So you met Tinubu in the 90s, I believe.
Yes.
Do you think that he's 74 today?
I will not swear on the Bible about that because I know my age. I know my age when I met him. I know the age of my friend Tony Obe, who was his very close friend. But in Nigeria, a lot of us don't even know. Sometimes I feel bad for him because some of us were born at a time that nobody keeps any record. Because if we keep any record, all we should have done when he said it's 74 or what, we would have just written to the hospital, check the records if they still have it, and they would tell us when he was born. But we don't have the luxury of that. I myself, talking to you, I didn't know the date of my birth until I found somebody that was born the same day with me. We were only 15 minutes apart. The lady is still alive. He's still alive and living in Akure. He was in London for many years, but he's living in Akure. Now, the sister of that lady was a school mistress. So he knew when their mother put to bed. Their mother and my mother were in labor around the same time. But their mother put to bed 15 minutes before I was born. So we were 15 minutes apart. So when I was going to school, they just give me any date. He was born so 1942, they just wrote it down. Until I grew up and I heard the story that I was born the same day with somebody. And I started looking for that somebody. And I got her. I even started looking for the doctor, one Dr. Robinson, that delivered both of us. He was already retired. So when I went to the Institute of Public Administration in 1972. I went looking for that doctor, and I traced him to St. Mary's Hospital. Yes, he was in his 90s at the time. He must be dead by now. And I reminded him and said, I was told that you were the doctor from Nigeria. And he confirmed it. So I cannot comment too much about this 74. I would think, to be honest with you, that Tinubu will be older than 74. Because if he's only 74 and the daughter is 62, I have a problem with that. And that can only happen in the north, where you can be married to a 9-year-old girl. I can understand that, but in where we were born, minimum you will be 14, 15, or 16 before somebody can be having any affair with you to impregnate you. So if the daughter was claiming to be 62 and the father was claiming to be 74, you do the arithmetic. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to me. But that is not the issue. That may not be his fault, because the parents don't know. The parents are, I know the parents, Abibatu Mogaji, the very, very rich woman in Lagos. I think it was his adopted mother. Even Abibatu Mogaji may not be able to take date. In fact, she adopted him later. So the mother who gave back to him from a rugby G might be an illiterate who doesn't know how to record date of birth. So I don't criticize him for that if he's able to get away with it, and he got away with it. He's already president now. So what I'm concerned about now is that it will make the best use of the opportunity as God to be president of Nigeria, and I think less about how old he is, whether he's 80 or something. But I know my age. I know I'm over 80 now. Nobody can deny that, because my first son is almost going to 60. It's about 58 now. You add 20 or 30 plus that, you have an idea of where I am, where I am at. So that is my view on that. It's unfortunate, but future generations will not have to face this kind of problem, because there are birth registries now all over the country. So anybody who is born and does not have a birth certificate right now must be hiding something. Yeah. A few people still get born in the house. They don't take them. But when they are born in the house, they will still take them to the hospital to examine them. So that is my view about that. I'm sorry, I don't criticize him for that. That might be the fault of his parents.
Okay, so let's leave the age when he was born and all those. How has he done in the last 3 years? There are a lot of Nigerians from all over the country who are complaining about hardship. And the government, they have their position, which is that they made the country in a very bad shape.
Yes.
That they've been trying to put it in shape. And they need another 4 years to do that.
Yeah.
People are saying that they've had that before. They had that from Buhari. Buhari came in and said it was a terrible situation. Yeah. He needed 4 years to fix it. After 4 years, he asked for more 4 years. And at the end, nothing happened. And that these are the same people, the same political party, different faces, but the same political. So what do you make about people who are complaining that they can't survive this for another 4 years?
I think they are speaking the truth. To tell you the truth, if I were in their position, I would say the same thing. But what I want you to note was that, when Tinubu was campaigning, Tinubu, people call him Adigbanaku, somebody who is sick and will die tomorrow. Adigbanaku is quite different. There's one Olayiwola Alaga of the Yoruba War Center. I listen to him every day. That guy is something else. Olayiwola Alaga of the Yoruba War Center of the Premier University of Ibadan. That's a genius when it comes to Nigerian history. I recommend to any of you listening to this broadcast to go put particular attention. Although he does it in Yoruba, but in fact, I'm even recommending that all the discussion that he has done should be translated into English, so that the Igbos, the Afiks, the Hausas, the Fulanis can read it. In fact, that guy is something else. He tells the truth. So what I'm saying is that Tinubu told us when he became president, and he told us what he thought we wanted to hear, and what he thought that those people who voted for him, he did not wanted to hear. He said, I am going to take over from where Buhari left off. And now you said Buhari was there for 8 years and he did nothing. He did something, no. To say he did nothing would be a misrepresentation. What did he do? This same Buhari was the person who allowed all the itinerant Fulanis of West Africa, in Mauritania, in Guinea, in Mali, in Syria, and all those people, he said they could come to Nigeria without visas. And they came to Nigeria in an effort to help him win and defeat Goodluck Jonathan. He defeated Goodluck Jonathan. But all these troops came, they didn't go back to where they came from. They decided to remain. Number one, they discovered that Nigeria was such a rich country that why would they be following cattle into the bush alone if they can do something here and make and share out of the wealth of Nigeria? So they decided to stay put, and they looked for somebody like J. Gumi to come and be the advocate, and he agreed. J. Gumi agreed to be the advocate, and he was canvassing and advocating for them, and that was the reason he got into trouble with Saudi Arabia 2 times. He had gone to Saudi Arabia, he had been returned. They said he had to leave. In fact, one time they want to put him in jail. The Nigerian government has to step in to let him come back home. Now, so it would be wrong to say that Buhari did nothing. He did something, but it was worse. It was a bad thing he did. And somebody to have the courage to admit that. Unfortunately, it will be difficult for Tinubu to admit that in public. He might do it in camera, behind closed doors. We knew where this problem came from. And for us to be able to address the problem, we have to admit that we have a problem first. And that's why I disagree with people who say that all these terrorists are our brothers and sisters. They are not my brothers and sisters. They may be your brothers and sisters, not mine. And I know they are not the brothers and sisters of my people in Akure. No. If they are my brothers and sisters, they will be killing my people like that. So we have to speak with one voice. That is part of the problem of Nigeria. Both sides have to agree that we have a problem. But instead of addressing that problem, some elements in the north are saying that these are our brothers and sisters. We should be patient with them. Patient with somebody who wants to kill you? Well, if you want to be patient with somebody with a dagger in his hand who's going to slaughter you, I don't have that patience. So it's not going to happen to me. No. And with all the level of education in the South, how can anybody welcome that? So the problem began with telling the truth to both sides, to say we have a problem, and to say that these people are not our brothers and sisters, these are our enemies, and we must join hands to repair them and send them back to where they belong. And we must pay particular attention to those of them who have been absorbed into the Nigerian police and to the Nigerian military, army, navy, and air force. I served for 4 years as an undersecretary in the Ministry of Defense. I know what I'm talking about. So, and Tinubu is doing some of the things he's required to do, but he still has to do more. There's still a lot of room for improvement. And that improvement begins with our telling ourselves the truth and only the truth and nothing but the truth. These people are not our brothers. They are not our sisters. And we should speak with one voice to send them back to where they are, flush all of them that have entered our military and are supposed to be protecting us. I mean, look at the problem that we face. Rudy, today, I think it was in the East, I heard that some bandits were caught with army uniform. Some of them with youth service uniform, youth service corps uniform. Some of them with police uniform. Some of them with Navy uniform. How can we? And these are the people that we are going to send to go and defend us? We must be crazy. We must be delusional to ever think of that. So we have to speak the truth to ourselves, first and foremost, before we can find a joint solution to the problem that is facing us in Nigeria today.
Okay, we're going to take a break at this point. When we come back, we talk about insecurity in the Southwest, which is the main topic for today.
Yes.
What the solution should be. We will explore historical ways it could be dealt with, based on your background.
Yeah.
We also have you talk about Islam in the Southwest, which is something new and it's an issue that a lot of people are concerned about.
Yeah.
So we take a break. We'll be right back with Wunmi Akintide, and that will give us the opportunity for you watching at home to join us and have an interaction with him. So stand by. right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are having an interesting conversation this afternoon here in New York City with Dr. Wunmi Akintide, a historian, a public intellectual, and he's talking about the state of the country with focus on Oyo State and the students and teachers who are in captivity. They've been there for over 30 days. So, Dr. Wunmi,
Yeah.
the country is under Bola Tinubu's watch, and
Yes,
this happened. Why?
That's a very interesting question. It has been happening before he got there, but the problem has been worsened. Under is something. It's worse than it was, but it was there before he came there. Now,
why is it that 30 days after, nothing has happened?
if I were in his shoes, I would be embarrassed. I would be ashamed of myself that is happening. So Nigerians who are complaining have a right to complain. And I'm complaining. I'm one of them, because this state of affairs is not good. It's not good at all. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. But you were saying something that ever before the white people came to our shores, we have a self-defense initiative, self-defense things we used to do to to protect our different communities. And you have to understand that because you've heard about so many intertribal wars, or your versus the Hausa Fulani, which they're still trying to do right now. So we have a way to protect ourselves. I'm talking to you now as somebody born in the Deji's Palace. I was born and raised there. If my father were to face this kind of situation, my grandfather were to face this kind of situation, I know what he would have done. And what he would have done simply is consulting his Ifa Oreku. Ifa, there was one point at the time, a British DO came to my father's palace and was asking if he would like to be baptized. Gabriel said, "What is that?" I said, it's like a rebirth. You will be born again, and that your sins will be forgiven. My grandfather is stuck in literally. He said, "What sins? I didn't commit any sin. I'm doing what is right by my people." He said, I observed you didn't go to church. He said, "What am I going to do in church? If I go to church, you mean that a pastor will put his hand on my head?" He said that will never happen. And my father never, when they have Empire Day or they have something significant to do and the DO is coming, they invite him, he will show up. But going to the church and then coming forward to kneel before the altar and somebody begin to pray for him and put the hand on him like Adeboye, Enoch Adeboye, the general overseer of Redeem, did to Pastor Gandhi, who became the Shongo of Ogbomoso. That will never happen. My father will never allow that. And yet, God did not, because of that, kill him. He bowed for that position 3 times. First in 1892. 8 years later, the person he competed against died. Ahoro-Esinele became, that was Ododo then. Ahoro-Esinele became the next Deji of Akure. My father competed with him too. They didn't pick him. And then the 3rd time, that was 1890. In 1897, Ahoro-Esinele died. And my father put in again. And this 3rd time, he succeeded. He was picked. That was in 1897. And he ended up, he lived so long that people thought that he would never die. He was there for 60 years. He finally made his exit in 1957. He never went to church one day, and God did not, because of that, kill him. So I guess what I'm telling you is that there are native means that our people have done, but we have been indoctrinated to abandon all those things and burn them. Some of them are still useful to us, including all the all the herbs that we are talking about, dogoyaro and all these things. If you are suffering from malaria fever, dogoyaro will help you overcome it. But what the Christians are telling us is that it's wrong for you to go to anything native, anything that is not of Jesus. Don't do it. I was surprised that even in Israel, in the state of Israel, they have herbs, but they turned their herbs into modern medicine. They didn't abandon all those things, and yet Jesus was born in their country. So I guess our problem is that we've abandoned some of those things. That's why when people joke about Igboho Sunday, Majasola Igboho, I met him at Ibadan. I can relate to what he's doing because my father had something. I will tell you this story. Anytime my father is traveling out, my grandfather is traveling out of Akure to go and attend the meeting of the House of Chiefs, I observed that he usually, when he's inside the vehicle, he usually wear a particular crown called Akwijoki in our native dialect, Akwijoki. The crown is made of black wool. In fact, you can even tell that this is an unusual crown. I don't know why they even call it a crown, because it looks so different. But I observed that anytime he's traveling, that is the crown that he puts on his head. So out of my curiosity, I've always been curious as a child. I couldn't ask him, but I asked my grandmother, the old lady. I said, why is the grandpa always wearing this black something? Every time he travels to Ibadan, he's always wearing it. And when he's coming back, that is what he will wear. So my grandmother went to him as the wife, was able to find out for me, and I would not let her rest until I get an answer. Then he told my grandmother that that was for his protection. If for any reason there was an accident on the road, he said he will not die on the spot. He will get back home. He said, no matter what happens, he will be back home. Of course, he never got involved in an accident, so we never actually tested whether that thing works or not. But one thing I know is that my father will never leave home to travel to Ibadan without wearing that crown. I remember when King Edward VIII, I think that was 1936, they invited him because they said he was a very powerful king. They wanted to knight him and make him a knight, sir. But they said they had to go in the plane. He said no. He said he was not going. He said he's too old for that. So instead of King Edward VIII, before he resigned, because he wanted to marry Sarah Simpson, that American divorcee, before he resigned and the brother took up the throne in 1937, King Edward VIII wrote a citation. I still have a copy of the citation with me, and the copy of the citation is in my book, The Biography of My Father. He said, since you said you cannot travel, because if you travel to London, there's a ceremony whereby the king has to put a sword on your shoulder to say that you are now a knight. But since you cannot come, at least I want to put it on record that I appreciate what you are doing as a royal father in your own neck of the woods in Nigeria. So he wrote that citation, and it was delivered by the High Commissioner of Britain to my father. I think that was in 1952. 1936, before the King Edward left. Then after King Edward came, King George VI, the father of Queen Elizabeth. That one gave my father, wanted to honor my father, my grandfather again. But my grandfather said he was not going anywhere. He wasn't traveling. And I thought maybe because there was one Orimolusi king, the Oba of Ijebubo, who went on a plane to somewhere in England, and they had a plane crash. The man never returned home. Nobody ever saw his dead body anywhere. And my father used to joke and say, he said that young man, if he knew, he would have prepared himself. Instead, he would have come back home. Yes, he told me that. And everybody knew that. So what I'm telling you is that we have our own native protective devices we can use. And that is why I don't dismiss whatever Igboho is saying. Igboho said his father gave him something. If you look at Igboho, when he dressed up to go to the bush, you will see that what he's wearing, there is something underneath. He usually wears that thing. And that is where his power lies. So when Igboho was suggesting to Makinde that, look, I don't say you should not do your Amatekun, but give me the permission. Let me go and try my luck. And Makinde said, no. I think that was a wrong decision. If these people have been in detention for 30 days in the hands of bandits and criminals and killers, and somebody said, I want to volunteer to go there, and you said no, I think you are crazy. That is insanity, really. I think Makinde ought to allow him to do just like he did for the sister of Adelabu and the two twins who have now been released after about a week or 3 days. So if you try, if you don't know a solution to a problem, whatever they give you, try it first. Don't let these people, because I watched that lady, the school mistress, crying on television, on YouTube. I feel so sorry for them. And I have my people too who are suffering, even in Akure and all of that. So my point is that any means, anything that they can do, they ought to do. They ought not to wait till a general was actually killed and died in detention before they do something. That would be my suggestion on that. There are things that can be done. First of all, you should go and consult Ifa. I know Owonifa now. It's money. People are looking, but there's still some genuine ones. They will take some money, but not big money. Because when they're asking for millions, you know that they're telling lies. Because all these things, it doesn't cost that much to do. But what I'm saying is that if government is ready to pay them some little money to encourage them, there are people we still have in our society who can help to release all these detainees.
Dr. Wunmi, I wanted to point out that already monarchs, Yoruba monarchs, that's what he's saying in this story.
Okay.
They've agreed that they will fight terrorists with juju. So you're ahead of them. They're ahead of you already.
Oh, that's good. Don't even call it, when you call it juju, people start disbelieving it.
No, that's how the newspaper reported it. This is the front page of Vanguard. They said juju. They will.
That's good. That's good.
Now, but let me ask you. Talking about the church and what they did and how they
Islam.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the church first. When you see the Ooni of Ife and how he professes his Christianity, and do you think there's a conflict in the traditional Yoruba religious practice and Christianity?
Without any doubt, there's a big conflict because I have watched the new Onitsha. Onitsha is Arole Odua. Is a king without any doubt. And being Arole Odua, there are certain things he has to be doing. It doesn't belong to the church. Going to the church and start, in fact, he's the one who will tell them what song they should sing now. It's like you bring, there's one native medicine man in Akure, Asogadumale. It's like taking Asogadumale to St. David's Cathedral in Akure, and you ask him to be leading the choir. That is crazy. That's what the new one is doing. And I've had occasion to even write articles about that and say that, well, I don't say you cannot go to church, but when you go to church, you lie low. You cannot be everything to everything, to every man. Yeah. So I guess my answer to your question is that what the Oni is doing in that regard is wrong. In fact, the Christians themselves should be able, the bishop, to be able to tell him, but they won't tell him because they are too afraid to say such a thing. But it's mixing God with mammon. That's what it is. Pure.
All right. One last question on this Islam in the Southwest. There are people who are concerned that there is a new form of Islam. I mean, Southwest, they've had Christians and Muslims live together. There is this new group that are pushing for Sharia law in the Southwest.
Yes.
And they are very aggressive, and it's causing divisions within families and within the structure in the South. Do you sense that? Is that something that you're concerned about?
I'm terribly concerned about it. But let me tell you, you are speaking to me now. Michael. Michael is my Christian name. But you are speaking to somebody whose uncle, my senior uncle, Sheikh, I'm trying to remember the name now, is the chief imam. Yayi Akorede, that is the name. Sheikh Yayi Akorede was the chief imam of Akure. That's my uncle. Now, he went to Mecca all the time. A very powerful sheikh. In fact, they gave him the title sheikh. But anytime they are having a Salah or they are having a religious festival, Islamic festival, we go to his house to eat. And then anytime we're having Easter or Christmas, they go to, they send the children come to my father's house to eat. So the way the Muslims in the Yoruba Southwest regard Islam is quite different from the way that the fellow brothers in the north, in Kano, Sokoto, and all those places. In fact, those Muslims there regard the Muslim in the south as kafiri, they call them kafiri. So I guess that our Muslim in the Southwest, if they understand what Sharia truly means, what it will impose on them, they will think twice before they support it. Because the Sharia says that if you catch somebody stealing a goat, you have to cut his hand. You have to cut his hand. If you cut the hand the first time, if it goes back again to steal another goat, you cut the second hand. What kind of religion is that? So the problem is that the Yoruba is Muslims. They are quite different from the Hausa Muslims. Now, I'm telling you, there's a guy that I spoke to in your studio who said he was from Urobo. He's an Urobo man. And he lives in Edo. I lived in Edo before. I want to tell you that the former chief imam of Edo State, Sheikh Otokiti, that was my uncle. He's an Akure man whose parents were captured during the war with Akure and Edo, and the parents were taken to Benin. He ended up embracing the Muslim faith, and he ended up becoming the chief imam of Benin. Anybody from Benin who is hearing what I'm telling you will confirm it. So I come from a family that has Christians, pastors, bishops, and yet within the same family we have sheikh and chief imam. They go together. I will tell you that my uncle, Bishop Joseph Akinyele Omoyajo, was the bishop of Ijebu Diocese. He's still alive in Akure. Anytime I go home, I stay in his house. And all these people that I'm mentioning, Papa Otokiti, Papa Yayi Akorede, they are all our relations. They are all our family members. And we get along with them. I know my sister, the daughter and the son of Pa Yayi Akorede is today the chief imam of Akure. Kunle Adekunle Akorede is a sheikh too. That's my favorite nephew. The same thing. The Ya Adini of Ondo State, Mrs. Gidado, is the daughter of my uncle Yayi Akorede, and we are the best of friends. What of the husband? Lai Gidado from Ado-Ekiti. They are all Muslims, but that does not strain our relationship. We have the best of relationship. We eat together, we do things together without any problem. So I guess it's just like the Muslim in Saudi Arabia. They don't regard some of the Muslims in Nigeria too. They feel that they are not the original, but they tolerate them. So tolerance is what we need.
So, but what happened? What changed with the current crop of Muslims in the Southwest that are demanding for Sharia? What do you know? What happened?
And no, it's because they are being bribed. You see, those who are pushing Sharia from the north, it's a political agenda. And look at it. Tinubu is a Muslim. I don't think Tinubu cares whether Sharia is on or not. If he cares that much about that religion, about that faith, he won't be married to a pastor in Redeemed Church. Oluremi Tinubu is a pastor in the Redeemed Church. Now. And yet the husband is Ahmed, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The mother of Ahmed Tinubu, Alaja Abibatu Mogaji, is Muslim. So they don't, even the Oba of Lagos, Liwanu, is Muslim. But yet, he performs all the libation. I mean, you can't be the Oba of Lagos and not be involved in some voodoo. You're going to do it. You you see him carrying some amulet. So, our Muslim in the Southwest are quite different from our Muslim in the North, in the core North. We have to, I don't know how to solve that problem because the Muslims want more people to join them. But now, if you want more people to join them, then you have to relax some of your rules that says that if somebody steals a goat or steals a hen, you have to cut off his hand. Some people can tolerate that. I can't tolerate it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But my Muslim relations, they don't believe in that. And that's why we get along. We are in the best of times. So that's what is going on.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wunmi Akintide. We are bringing in people who are backstage who've been listening to you. We give them a chance to ask you a question or make a comment on some of the things you said. Yeah. But before they start, you mentioned some pastors and bishops. I forgot that you know some bishops. So yeah. the bishop, Redeemed Christian Church, the general overseer, he's been people on social media. They've been challenging him, saying that under Jonathan, when Jonathan was president, he was out protesting. They also mentioned people like Kumuyi, people like Tunde Bakare.
Yes.
But now they are not complaining about the hardship in the country, and things are harder today than they were then.
Yes.
People are wondering why is it that they're keeping quiet? What do you think is going on there?
It's because they're tribalistic. Simple answer to that question is tribalism. We are all tribalistic. Even me, I try to, when I write, I'm aware of my obligation to be a little bit neutral. I try to do it. There are certain things I do from the misconception of the fact that I'm a Yoruba person. And therefore, I don't want to see what is wrong in what the Yoruba person is doing. I try to overcome it. But there is always a temptation to do that because we are all human beings. As long as you are human, you have a tendency to go along with your own people. That's it. For example, me, as much as possible, when we were, both of us, yourself and me, when we were at Sahara Studio in New York, I know you are Igbo, but you are an Igbo with a difference to me. your Igbonism is completely acceptable to me. I have so many Igbo friends and Igbo girlfriends and the boyfriends. Too many. And as a matter of fact, my son, my first son is married to an Igbo girl from Umuagu in Olu division of Imo State. So many of my relations are married to Igbos, and they are fine women, nice people. So, but some of us are still a little bit tribalistic. We will not admit it. We will not readily admit it, but it's there in some of our behavior. So that is what exactly is happening. If Tunde Bakari is a Muslim, but he's a Muslim just like I'm a Christian, Tunde Bakari is much more civilized than that. If he becomes president, he's going to speak the truth. And the same thing, there's the other person you mentioned. For example, my uncle, who?
Kumuyi and
Kumuyi.
Adeboye.
Yes. In fact, people go to Kumuyi's house and Oyedokun and all of them. They have Muslims in their family that they still cohabit with. They coexist with them without any problem. Yeah. But if they are not speaking, if they are only complaining about something else and they are not complaining about what Tinubu may be doing wrong, that is because their Yorubaness is taking hold on them. They may not admit it, but it is there. Because it affects me. I'm talking to you now. I'm a Yoruba man. I want the Yoruba to continue to be president. But the difference with me is that I know that any Yoruba man who wants to be president must show me proof that he deserves to hold that office. What has he done? If he has not done well, if he has not measured up to standard, I will be opposed to such a person, regardless. But that is me. Everybody is not like that. That's me. But I try to check myself because, first of all, if you ask me a question, I will first of all think like a Yoruba man before I answer you. If you ask me a question in English, you first of all think in Yoruba, how will the Yoruba person handle it? So it's a common problem. And it's not only to the Yorubas. It happens to the Hausas. It happens to the Fulanis. It happens to the Igbo, Efiks, Urobos, Ishekiris, all of them. It happens. Everybody wants to go with their own person. For example, not too long ago, Oluremi, Pastor Oluremi Tinubu, was installed the Atukwa Orisha. Atukwa Orisha in Isekiri. It means that the light of God. That's what it means. Atukwa Orisha. And under normal condition, you might say it's a honorary title, but that person will be required to kneel down for the Olu of Wari, as the young man who's now the Olu of Wari. The same thing goes with the former ambassador, the son of my former permanent secretary, Solomon Akinswa, who later became the Oba of Benin in 1979. His son, Ahinde, who is now Oba Iwuare II of Benin. It goes, now that's a modern man. He was an ambassador in Switzerland or somewhere, and so on. Is the Oba of Benin today. I think Oba do Otoluakwara. People say all kinds of things, but the man, as powerful as the Oba of Benin is, an Oba of Benin, you don't joke with Oba of Benin. No. That's a serious, royal title. Everybody knows that. And when you are there, because you are regarded as an Orisha yourself, you are regarded as one of the deities once you become that position. So you cannot take that position and then the next day go to the church and start dictating what song they should sing, or you start leading them in a chorus. That will not happen. You will never find a number of Benin doing that. No. Yeah, but people here, in fact, some of them will go and wear Muslim ceremonies. They wear turban. They wear turban. We are all deceiving ourselves. When you wear turban, you don't know what you are counting. They give you something, you begin to count it and begin to say some stupid things that you don't even understand. But you are doing that to please some people so that they will, because they said, Oba, Oba, Oba is the king of all, both the Muslim, the Christians, and the Voodoo people. So it's a confused society. It's a confused society, to be very frank with you. And that's why I can never become one. Because they've asked me to come and take my father's title. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't do it. But I can't take a title that will make me not be able to travel to anywhere I want to. No, I won't do it. But people are different. There are some people who like it. Yes, I would have become the Olugojo of Eguji. I can't be the Olugojo of Eguji. But I'm not interested in that. Rather than take that, I ask one of my brothers, my siblings, who's interested in it, to go ahead and do it. And I will support him. I will support him because I'm happy where I am. So that's what is happening. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's call on Mr. James to ask a question or make a comment. Mr. James.
Yes. Thank you once again for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are very pleased to have you in our midst today.
My pleasure.
What you're saying, virtually everything is resonating well with me because my father started his life in Akure.
Thank you.
He was more or less a Babalawo, although he was not, because that is his religion. So he practiced it till he died. He never went to church.
Yes.
He never entered the church all his life.
Excellent.
So the kind of things you are saying.
And he lived for how many years? At what age did he die?
No, I must let you know. Traditionally, I'm not permitted to ask my father, how old are you? So I do not know how old he was when he died.
Okay.
Yeah, I could not ask him. Traditionally, yeah. So that's how it is anyway. And it's very interesting to know that you are related to the Oyedokun family.
Very much. That's my uncle.
I think their house is at Lagos Street off Urban Market Road.
Correct.
I attended school with one of them.
Correct. That is where I used to spend my holidays when I was at Edo.
Yeah. Yes, Lagos Street.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Correct.
Anyway, that's that. I've just sent some documents to Dr. Damages, Ovier, and KJ about South Africa.
Okay.
What is happening is this. The assistance we gave them,
yes,
it is true we assisted them, but I noticed while I was in school that majority of the money, a good chunk of the money, sadly, was embezzled by Nigerian government officials.
That's true, but a lot got to them.
Excuse me, sir. One of the documents I sent to Rudolph was written by one Professor Patrick Wilmot of Ahmadu Bello University.
Okay.
He alluded to it in the article. The money was not properly accounted for.
Okay.
When Tabu Beki and his guys were here as ANC representatives and PAC men, they received assistance.
Yeah.
They knew what we were doing with our money. We assisted them. They were also conscious of the fact that we are also helping ourselves in their name.
Okay.
They were conscious of that fact. So when they returned to South Africa after 1994, they could not tell their people what was going on. It is now they started revealing the secrets.
Okay.
And secondly, the fault is theirs because the history of South Africa they teach in their schools today is written by the whites. I also sent the three people I mentioned a copy of a book used in South African departments of history in the university, written by the whites. If you read the book, they see things strictly from the white man's perspective.
Exactly. Just like they do in America too.
Zambia and other days, I mean, they were not interested. Anyway, you see, modern South Africans, they are ignorant.
Yes.
It is ignorance that is fueling the uprising we notice today.
Okay.
And another problem again is tribalism.
Right.
The Zulus during apartheid, they they had a party they call Inkatha Freedom Party.
You're right.
Headed by Mangosuthu Motuleze.
Motuleze, yes, I heard of
They
him.
declared war on ANC supporters, and ANC supporters also declared war on them. The white man was using Inkatha to fight the ANC. The Zulus believe that South Africa belongs to them.
Yes.
That all other ethnic groups are migrants. That is their belief. And what is happening today, the headquarters of this uprising we are seeing today is Durban, which they call Etequeni Zulu. So what is going on is tribal problem, political problem, and there are a lot of things mixed up. The modern South African youth, there's nothing they can do. And lastly, the government of South Africa is unable to control them for one reason.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There's nothing. There's nothing you say that I can disagree with. Yes. Tribalism is everywhere. It's in Nigeria too. The Fulanis too are doing the same thing like the Zulus.
Good. During apartheid, a lot of guns, pistols were declared wanted by the South African authorities.
Yeah.
Because if you shoot a man with a gun in South Africa, their ballistic shot can tell the gun that fired the shot. So a lot of guns are on wanted lists. Thousands, if not millions of guns.
Yes.
Those people you see
demonstrating in Nigeria too. Yeah.
Yes. Those people you see demonstrating in the streets of Johannesburg and elsewhere, over half of them have got pistols on their waists.
Yes.
If the police dare confront them, it's going to be a national catastrophe. This is why the police is unable to control them.
Thank you. I'm really educated. You said a lot. You really understand the situation. Yeah.
I lived with them for 10 years.
That's good. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So anyway, thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Please, if you don't mind, I will write you a letter through Dr. Rudolph.
Oh, you are free to do that. I would like to know you more myself.
And
we all learn from each other, and nobody has a monopoly on knowledge.
I'm very pleased to know
I'm open to learning from you.
I'm very pleased to know that you are from a royal family.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Oba Atokpe.
Oba, you say.
Oba do Atokpe. Oba no nyato ya se webo.
Is
Oba na gutile.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much indeed.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. James. Let's go to Ife. Let's go to Ife because the other one, Via, is claiming to be from another royal family, but I don't know. Let's go to Ife first.
Good evening, Stam.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'll call you Papa. I mean, you are old enough.
Yes.
So, good evening, sir.
Thank you, my dear.
Yes, sir. I listened on and off. I'm busy. Like I always tell them, I have to step up my game because Tinubu is the president and Trump is the president here. Both their name starts with T, and none of us in from those countries are smiling. So, as you were talking, I was just doing my job. But anyway, that's by the way. I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
I am a typical Igbo girl from the eastern part of the country.
Okay. And, where in Igbo in particular? Because I know
Anambra. I'm from Nnewi.
Nnewi, okay.
Yes, sir. Where Ojukwu is from. My mom's younger brother married to Ojukwu's younger sister. Okay.
Oh, yes. I know that, and I know Ojukwu very well because when I served in the army headquarters before the war, he was there too. And I know Umahia Ubeku. They are all warriors there, according to them. So Nnewi is a center of attraction there, right?
Yeah, it is still.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have a couple of questions.
Right.
I mean, what is happening in Nigeria, honestly, I cannot tell you anywhere else in this part of the world that what is happening in Nigeria is happening.
It's happening in South Africa.
Let's talk about the incident, the kidnapping that happened in Oyo.
Okay.
I believe that the government purposely playing politics with the lives of these kids. You said here, and you will agree with me, that when the former minister's family was kidnapped, yes, they were, whether it is staged or not staged, I don't know. But
within 3 days, they were released.
Within 3 days, they were rescued.
Yes.
If Nigeria, government really want to rescue these kids? Because every day we are losing time. Every day, as day go by, we are losing time in finding these kids. To me, now it's beginning to look like the incident of Chibok girl. We may or may not find these people. Again, we don't even know the situation, whether they are still alive or not.
Right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If, let's say, that's one of Tinubu's daughter or son or children was kidnapped, I don't think we won't have a country by now. I mean, the person must be rescued.
I agree with you.
I need to ask my question. Is it because these people are poor, or because I just don't understand why the government is not making an effort? I have a problem that Tinubu has not even made a speech. I have a problem that Tinubu went to Jos and told us that he has only 10 minutes to stay. And you call yourself a president of a country, there is no sympathy. There is nothing like father-like figure in your life. Because as I'm talking to you from a point of emotion, because I'm frustrated. Right. I hate a situation where I get a call from Nigeria. The first thing I say, is everything okay? Is everything okay? Is everything okay? It shouldn't be like that. Right. When my sister calls me here, don't worry about that. I'll be like, what? Right. What? You know? But whenever you get a call from Nigeria or get a text from Nigeria to say call you, your heart will just skip as if something bad has happened. This is the country. You can't even travel by road. Yeah. I enjoy traveling by road. Anytime I go home, I stop in Lagos and then travel to East. But now I can't do that because everybody's afraid that anything can happen. This is our country. You made a statement here, which I agree that insecurity did not start with Tinubu. I give it to him. It did not start with him, but it has worsened under this government. And it seems like this government is not doing anything. You know, every day you wake up, you know, you hear this issue of kidnapping in a country where a retired general was killed, kidnapped, and nobody said anything. The president did not say anything. Instead, Bayo Nonuga, who I call a parrot, I hate to say he's a stupid man, but I hate to say that, but he is a stupid man, who put out a statement and just brush it off, and we move on as if nothing happened. The reason why I'm saying this is tomorrow it could be your family, it could be my family, it could be any of our family here. That's how bad our country has become. Nigeria used to be the safest country in the whole world, where you can go and come back at any time. It's no longer the same. If you have access to talk to Tinubu, what are you going to tell him? My second question is this, regarding Nnamdi Kanu. Fando Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu, they were on the same journey. Out. Nnamdi Kanu is still in prison. In fact, I read something where they said they are trying to poison him, and they have a plan to move him to a smaller prison so that the terrorists will I don't know, I saw it on social media, so that if terrorists invade the prison, they will say it's an accident and yada, yada, yada. In the same country. I believe an Igbo girl that we're being marginalized. I'm saying it, and that's what it is. I'm not saying that there are other people in the country in the country that are not marginalized. Of course, there are other people. And how can you tell me that I still want to be part of this country called Nigeria? Because whoever made that decision to put everybody together is a bastard. I hate to say that. That's how I am at this point. I am talking to you. Because we do not have no business being together at this point with what is happening in Nigeria. How can you tell me that in a country that you're going to reintegrate how many repentant Boko Haram in a society that is fighting terrorism? Well, I think you might live in America. I live here in the state of Georgia. Imagine catching a terrorist and you're going to, rehabilitate the person and put the person back in the society. What do you think you're doing? I heard what the Borno state governor said. These are our brothers. We've had the defense minister say that these are our people. So you tell me that I have to sleep with my eyes wide open, sleeping wide open with a machete on my hand just because I don't know when it's going to be attacked. What kind of country is this? Can you just explain this? Because I'm sorry, I don't think if I offended you, I don't mean to offend you, but I mean, just my frustration as a Nigerian.
I understand you. There's nothing you have said that I can disagree with. Nothing. If you look at some of the articles I've written, I've made the same point that you have made. I agree with you in toto. especially with regards to Nnamdi Kanu. Now, left to Tinubu alone, I think he will release Nnamdi Kanu today, not tomorrow. But I think he's doing that to please some of his supporters in the north. And it's not right for him to do that. You cannot keep somebody. What has Nnamdi Kanu done? He said he wanted to protect his people. The same thing that Odumegwu Ojukwu did. And Odumegwu Ojukwu wanted to protect his people. What is wrong in that? So I agree with you that Nnamdi Kanu has no business staying in detention. If I were in his position, if I were his top advisor, I would advise him to release him tonight. Not even waiting tomorrow. Because if you are keeping it, you are not even trying him. The court, when they went to court, the court said they could be released. And we're living in a country governed by the rule of law. Why is this still there? I don't understand. I'm as frustrated as you are, my sister. So, but one day will be one day. We are going to get an answer. But we are putting pressure on him, on the Tinubu. I know him. He may not even remember me, but I know him. I'm putting pressure on him the way I know how. So that's not a word you have said that I can disagree with. We are on the same page, my sister. On the same page. And thank you very much for educating the rest of us who are listening to you now. Because it's not only good to hear it from one person, they should hear it from more people so that we know that there's a consensus on this viewpoint. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ife. Let's go to Vie, who today is called Olikotobia. I don't know what I mean.
Oikotobia is pretty much the opposite of xenophobia. It's a situation where one is hating his own culture, his own town, where he comes from, what you represent. It's pretty much a direct answer to those who disagree with Okpabolo because he doesn't know how to speak English. They seem to forget that represents the majority of the Edo State people. So, and they want to see Obama-like figure who is pretty much constructed. That's not going to happen. So I see them as people who hate theft. Okpabolo represents everyone in the state, but they don't want to admit it. So that's what the name is about. Thank you, sir, for gracing our president with your time. I have one question. I overheard you. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said that you refer to the Fulanis as not one of us. If that is what
I just said they are not part of us. No.
No, one of us.
They are part of us, but not all the Fulanis from Mauritania, from West Africa. All those people who fought in Syria, Iraq, and Iran, and in Beirut, in Lebanon. All those people are in Gaza. All those people are not part of us. They are not part of. They may be Fulani by name, but I don't recognize them as part and parcel of Nigerians. That's
so what constitutes us?
Well, there were Fulanis. Sir Ahmadu Bello. Ahmadu Bello was a Fulani, the son of Usman Danfodio. We cannot separate those people from Nigeria. And that was the person to whom Lord Lugard, Felix Lugard, handed over Nigeria to. So there were some Fulani that are natives of Nigeria. I welcome those people. They are part of us. But for them now to make the quantum leap and then all Fulanis from the other regions to come and take over our land, I'm opposed to that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm struggling to understand what you mean by us.
Us, I mean, when I say us, I'm talking about Nigerians, generic. Nigerians as a whole. Igbos, Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, Kanuris, and so on. Us, those are the us that I'm defining.
Yeah, but then if you want to go by that definition, it's still open to be accepted when you talk about the concept of Nigeria, because this is a construct of, it's an agreement that was reached just about 60 something years ago.
No,
and I believe these
I'm
people.
talking of 1914, the amalgamation
Yeah,
of
okay.
1914.
Yeah, 1914, let's just say roughly over 100 years ago. And that
Yes, that's what.
territory has been in existence. And all these people that you regard as not part of us has been in and out of that territory even before the coming of the Europeans. So that's why I'm kind of confused,
I
because
understand.
I can as well say that the Yorubas are not one of us too, and I can go ahead to justify that by identify some Yoruba part of us who also come in and out just like the Fulanis.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't think I will be able to convince you about this. All I'm saying is that the Yorubas are one stock all over the world. But if the Yorubas in Brazil, who have left many, many years ago and have settled down, if they were to come back to Nigeria now and they want to take over Ochogbo or Bomacho or Ibadan, those of us who, even though we know that they were Yorubas who left during the slave trade and came back, we will have some objection to that.
No, I won't use the word left. They did not left. They were stolen. To use the lack of
I
word.
don't say they
were not
left.
left.
They were stolen in slave trade, but they remained there. They never came back. Some of the Black Americans or the people in Haiti, most of them came from the Igbo land. The people in Haiti today, Haiti that we're talking about, I need to meet.
So the Fulanis can also make this claim that some of their people were also taken away to Mauritius, to America, to every part of the world that other tribes were taken.
Okay, all right. If they can make that claim, but our government ought to protect us. For example, if somebody is coming to join the army, right now, there were so many of these people that were absorbed into the army. Right now, we ought to be able to. Don't we have a register where we give them, we take down their names and we give them their numbers. So now that we're having this problem, we just have to trace those who are causing these bandits. Name them. Let us know them. If there are people who just came from Mauritania or from Burkina Faso, then we'll be able to take action against them. Where were you living? You were living somewhere before? They could tell us where they were living before. I think it's a simple and straightforward answer. If our government is actually taking note. That's what I think. I don't have a final answer to your question, but what I'm saying is that there were some Fulanis who have a claim to Nigeria, just like with the rest of us do.
All right. Thank you, Ovie. Go ahead, Ify.
One more question. Don't be angry. Don't be angry when I ask my question. Do you think in your, I know what you're gonna say, but I want to hear what hear it from you.
Okay.
Do you think Nigeria that we still have a business being together as a country, as a nation?
I've written articles about that, saying that we don't have business being a remaining one. If this is the way some of our so-called brothers and sisters are going to be treating us, we don't belong in the same business or in the same association. It's a simple, straightforward. How do you fraternize with somebody who is out to kill you? And the answer is simple. Somebody who keeps a 2-year-old child is being kept at a bush in Ogbomoso for over 30 days. Can you imagine the fate of that child, of that child now? Anybody who will do that to my people, to our people, cannot be our friend. Maybe they're friends to some people, but not to me. Not to me. I have said it loud and clear. These people, these bandits, these terrorists are not our brothers and sisters, and we ought not to be patient with them. We ought to deal with them. That's right. That's my viewpoint. I could be wrong, but that's my view.
All right. Dr. Wunmi, let me show you this image that it came out in today's papers.
Okay.
Just a minute. Our technology sometimes fails you. Okay, yeah, this is the picture. This is the image in virtually all the papers. Heavily armed bandits hand over the body of late general, kidnapped general.
I saw it.
For burial.
Yes. I saw it.
You remember when you were talking about when you were writing speeches for Awolowo?
Yes.
So if you were advising Bola Tinubu, and this is the front page of newspapers read by people all over the world today.
Yes.
Bandits kidnapped a retired general, killed him.
Yes.
And then they handed over his body to government officials and family members.
Yes.
Still with their guns.
Yes.
Faces covered.
Yes.
How do you recover from this?
It's a nightmare. The simple answer to your question, it is a nightmare and it is a big shame and disgrace. In fact, most people watching this from other countries will think that there's no government in Nigeria. Simple. That is the conclusion they will draw. But that is the reality of our situation. What can Tinubu? It has nothing to do other than to receive the body. It was an insult. A general, if a general can be treated that way, then it means the rest of us are not safe at all. And part of the first role of government is to protect the people. If the government can no longer guarantee your safety and security, that government has no business being there. That is a fact. Whether I'm a Yoruba man or an Igbo man or a Robo man, that is a fact that nobody can deny. Yeah.
All right.
I didn't like it. I saw it. I watched it, and I quickly switched off because what can I do? It is too disgraceful. That was in Nigeria where we used to send troops to go and help in Congo, in South Africa, in Samora Machel country, and all of those places. Now we are facing this thing. We cannot even deal with it as well. No, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It's a national disgrace.
Okay.
And I guess we're all in it together.
Yeah, let me play one more video before the next person will interact with you. This is I think you know this person.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. We have this new setup where
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
That was Shore. Did you see that video yesterday?
Yes, I think I saw it. I saw Shore where he was meeting with Kwankwaso and some other thing. It's abominable. What the picture you are showing is abominable. It doesn't speak well of the government. And any government that does this does not deserve re-election, if that is what you want to hear. But before I draw my conclusion, we have to put together a laundry list: the bad, the ugly, and the good. And once we have that, the bad, the ugly, and the good, let us now, if the good are far more than the bad and the ugly, you can then predicate your decision on that. But what I'm saying is that, to be fair, you have to say what the government has done that is good, if there's anything at all, and say what is bad and what is fair. Let us know it. Once we do that, it will be easy. Decision making will be easy to do. Information is tool for decision making. I think it was Socrates who said it. Give us information. Part of the picture you have shown me now is an information that cannot be hidden. All that is happening, but only yesterday or this morning, all those people that were rejected in South Africa, the president sent a plane to go get them and bring them home. But bring them home is only one aspect of the problem. When they get home, when they get here now, what are we going to do with them? Are they going to let loose without any help? They have no job. They have no means of feeding themselves. The government has to show us what program they have to rehabilitate them like they are coming home. So I guess what I'm saying is that in fairness, and I know you, Rudy, you are very fair. When we used to work together, what is good is good. What is bad is bad. You say it. And that's why I love you so much. So let's do the same. Whatever good this guy has done, let us list it. Let's look at the bad things and horrible things, let's see it. And then form our opinion, and then let that decide who to vote for in 2027. Yeah, there's no way to, I cannot defend falsehood. No, I cannot do it. If you want to hear my opinion as a Yoruba man, I'm just like my grandfather. My grandfather in those days, when my mother is go to the market and fight with, he may have a fight and beat the people up and so on, and they will bring the whole thing to the palace. And my father will ask my mother, is it true that you beat up this person who came to complain? My mother will hesitate before answering. But the person he beat up will say, yes, he beat me up. He beat me up. Then my grandfather will ask, what did you do for this person to beat you up? And the person will say, he caused out my father. He said my father was an idiot. He said, what did you say back? He said, I told him that your father too is an idiot. My grandfather would turn to my mother and say, now you are angry that they call me idiot. You are the one who calls me an idiot. Why did you call this person? Why do you say his father is an idiot? He said that I'm an Oba doesn't mean that I cannot give back for children who may not know what to do. He said, you are at fault. He went to her face. He said, you are at fault. Then he will beg the other person and say, don't worry that my son or my daughter, I will take care of the complaint. And then he will try to appeal them and they will go away. Then he will call my mother to the house and said, you know you are crazy. You are very, very crazy. Is it the kind of thing you want to leave for your son, for your little son? I was there. So in a way, that man was the one who shaped my conduct. I cannot support hierarchy. I cannot do it. No, I want to speak the truth as I understand it. But you must tell me, you must show me why I should be angry with somebody and why I should not vote for that person. All I'm asking Nigerians to do is to look at the positives, look at the negatives. If the negatives are far more than the positives, then take your decision. And I will support it because that's exactly what I will do.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Akintide. KJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Damages. Dr. Wunmi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed all your discussions so far. In fact, I had already taken my AK and loaded it until you gave an answer that humbled me.
Okay.
And what was that answer? You said to that other speaker that we are always learning, and you also have learned from him.
Yes.
That humbled me. There are many people who come to this program who think that they're the bastion of knowledge. They have everything. You can't tell them anything that they ever think they have not known. Once it's not their own idea.
Anybody who thinks like that is a fool.
Yes.
In fact, some of us who have PhDs, when you are writing your dissertation, you copy notes, the thought of other people, you gather it together, you synthesize it, and so where you differ, where you are different from that person, and you present it. We all learn from each other. We all come from the same bakery.
Yes, sir. That's what really humbled me, to see someone who has worked with the great Awolowo. Because those days when we were in secondary school, we were asked to go read Awolowo's speeches, read that of Aminu Kanu.
Yes.
And, write a text from what you have read. So when you read Awolowo's writing, sometimes you wonder how the man is able to conjure those things together.
Yes.
So someone like you who have worked with such a great man with knowledge, to say you are still learning, it was very humbling.
It was part of my greatest blessing in the civil service, that I was picked to be the one. In fact, the day they announced to me that I was the one going to serve, I nearly collapsed. Why? Because like you, I was only hearing about Awolowo by reputation. I never met him face to face before, but I now got an opportunity to walk side by side with him and to be able to ask some questions. And the man answered me. In fact, I will tell you one conversation I had with him when I first got there. It was not the very first day that I got there. After we became very familiar, you know, if you are working with people and they're asking you, do something for me, you do it, and over time, you become their friend, no matter how tough they are. So he was very favorable, very nice to me. So in the conversation, I told him, I said, you know, sir, I didn't like you before. He said, you didn't like me before? Yes. I said, this is the honest truth. I said, I didn't like you. He said, what did I do to you? I said, you are the one. I said, you are the one who stopped me, because what I wanted to do after graduating from the university, and I came top of my class and all that, and I wanted to be an ambassador. I wanted to join the foreign service, because I hear some people, I hear ambassadors, they call them Your Excellency, Your Excellency. So I said, one of my brother-in-law, Victor Adegroye, some of you might know him. He was permanent secretary in the Ministry of Trade. He was ambassador somewhere. Every time he comes home, he rides a car that flies a flag. There's a Nigerian flag on it. And I saw him, and every time he comes out, everybody will say, Your Excellency, sir. Your Excellency, sir. So when I got a chance to ask him, I said, you are the only person I've had people call Your Excellency. What have you done that makes you Excellency, sir? I said, I'm just curious. He laughed. He said, it doesn't mean that I'm excellent. He said, I'm an ambassador representing Nigeria. And that the flag you see on the car, that is the flag of Nigeria. So I said, oh yeah. He said, it's not because I'm excellent. I said, but if that is happening to you, I want to be like you. What can I do to join the foreign service and become Your Excellency? Then he asked, he said, what did you read in the university? I said, it was law I wanted to do before. My father said the law that only crazy people do law, because lawyers are they are very dishonest people.
Yes.
They can kill you. So I said, okay, I left law. Then I chose to read history. Oh, he said history is all right too. He said, but if you have a chance to add international relations and do a combined honors instead of having only honors in history, he said that would be good for you. I said, is that all that I need? He said, yes. Okay. So as soon as I left, I ran to my father and told my father that I saw somebody today. It's the brother of my fiancée. We have not married then. I said, I wanted to be like him, because everybody called him His Excellency and so on. And he told me that if I can add international relations to my major, that it will be easy for me to become to enter the foreign service and become an ambassador. So my father told me, he said, I don't know how to do what you are asking. He said, but I will ask my cousin. And that cousin happened to be Professor Adepoju, Samuel Adepoju Aluko. Samuel Adepoju Aluko was a professor in the university at the time. And he happened to be related to the mother of my father. So he sent to Aluko. And he wrote a letter. He said, this is your brother. I don't know what he's asking for, but I know that you are a bookwoman. You can do whatever you wanted. So I took the note to Professor Aluko. It was Professor Aluko who helped me to arrange it, and immediately they allowed me to add international relations to history. That was why I ended up reading history and international relations at Ife. And as soon as I graduated, I ran the day the result was announced. I ran to Victor Adegoye and said, I have met your requirement. I'm now bachelor's in history and international relations. When can I submit my application? And he said, yeah, write it and take it to the commission. I gave it to him. And they called me for interview. And they took me.
Wow.
They took me. That I was to enter the Foreign Service on January 3rd, 1968. I will never forget it in my life. So I was getting ready to go to the Foreign Service. In fact, they even told me that I'm one of the people earmarked for posting to Poland.
Wow.
I was so happy. I said, oh God, as soon as I get to Poland, the first thing I will do is to learn how to speak Polish so that I will have 2 languages. I did all of that. Then about a week later, I just got a letter in the mail telling me that they said they are sorry. I cannot go into the Foreign Service because the war is on. And this is not the time to be sending diplomats and creating new missions when Nigeria is borrowing money to prosecute the war. And then you are opening missions. So I asked the person, I said, who said that? Then somebody told me that it was Ahoro-Esinele, the Minister of Finance. At that time, I had not served with him, or I've not served with him, but somebody told me that it was Ahoro-Esinele who told the Gowon. If Gowon is listening to this discussion, he will remember what I'm saying. Ahoro-Esinele spoke to Gowon and told Gowon that it doesn't make sense to be forming new missions abroad where you are borrowing money to prosecute war. He said, as long as I'm the Minister for Finance, I will not support that. And Gowon advised him. That's why I say if General Gowon is listening to this conversation, he probably will remember it. Gowon advised Ahoro-Esinele to speak to his counterpart in the Foreign Service, who happened to be Oyedokun. Oyedokun was the Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time. So Ahoro-Esinele spoke to Oyedokun, and Oyedokun agreed that all the people who have been selected, who were supposed to resume duty on January 3rd, will no longer resume duty as foreign affairs officers. They will send them to the Home Service. So instead of me going to the Foreign Service to be called Your Excellency, that was how I ended up going to the Ministry of Defense. They sent me to the Home Service, Ministry of Defense headquarters at Republic Building along Marina. That was why I became the Assistant Secretary Army. Assistant Secretary in charge of Army for 4 years. And that changed my trajectory. So when I was posted to serve with Ahoro-Esinele, that was why I told him that I didn't like you because you are the one who stopped me from becoming ambassador. Then he told me, he laughed. He said, I didn't know you. It was a policy decision that I made. And he was the one who told me that it was Gowon that he first spoke to. And then Gowon asked him to speak to Oyedokun. And Oyedokun agreed. So they decided to tell the Civil Service Commission that all the people that were recruited at that time should be sent to the Home Service. And there were 3 of us that I still remember till tomorrow because I can never forget them. There's one Isaac Ayewa. Anybody who is in the Foreign Service will know what I'm saying. Isaac Ayewa was one of the people that was recruited to go to the Foreign Affairs. And then there was one, Paul Ayewa. Both of them later became ambassadors. Why did they now, at the same time, the first of all sent Ayewa to the Ministry of Education, and they sent Ayewa to the Ministry of Communications, and then they sent me to the Ministry of Defense, Army headquarters. And I thought they did that because they knew that I was the first son of an ex-service in Nigeria to get the British Canadian Legion Scholarship. That was what I used for my first degree at Ife. For the 3 years at Ife. That was the scholarship. I think they just looked at our record and they saw that, oh yeah, this fellow is, he has something to do with the defense. That was why I ended up going to defense. And I was in defense for 4 years. So
my question.
JJ, hold on. Let him finish.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So when I got to the Ministry of Defense, the permanent secretary that was there then was Dan Kida. Damchida, Alaji Chida. He didn't wait up to 1 month before he was posted out. And they brought another Ilorin man. Who is Ilorin? Is another. It's in the northern region. The name was Yusuf Gobiri. He was a lawyer. Yusuf Gobiri from Ilorin now replaced Damchida. So I have to serve under Damchida as permanent secretary and under Mr. B.G. Koko from Warri as his deputy permanent secretary, and one Samuel Ogunleye from Ijebu-Ode, who later became a director at the World Bank in Addis Ababa. That was my direct boss. And we both served under B.G. Koko and Yusuf Gobir. So that was my story in that place. So, but later on, the reason why I did not go back to the foreign service was as soon as I joined the service, because the army people controlled allocation of quarters in Lagos at that time. So as soon as I got there, because I was serving in the military, one Major Anyaru from Benin, he was in charge of allocating quarters to officers. That was why I got government quarters, first at Ikoyi and later on at the Yaba College of Tech. And I lived in that quarter for 25 years, changing quarters. So because they treated me right, because I got government quarters, I thought it was my house. I didn't wait. By the time the war ended, and some of my colleagues, Ayewa and Ayewa, they went back to be telling them that they wanted to go back to the foreign service. I myself, I was enjoying life so much, I didn't even think of going back. I said, in fact, when they mentioned it to me, I said, go away with your foreign service. I'm okay. I live in Koyi. And I thought the house was my house until I retired from the service. The day I retired from the service was the day I left that house. That was right till tomorrow. I never owned a house in Lagos. I would have been one of the landlords in Lagos. But for the fact that they gave me quarters so early, all the other colleagues of mine who didn't get government quarters, most of them they have houses in Lagos today, except me.
So, Dr. Wunmi, this is wonderful story. KJ, I'll come back to you for your question. But okay. I was thinking two things. One is, if you want, we can start calling you Your Excellency. I think you earned it. And we can put a flag of Nigeria on your car. If you want us to do that, we can come and do that in New York. But seriously, there's a question when you were talking and telling the story of your interactions with Awolowo, I was thinking, when you were with him, did he tell you about the policy, how the policy about this 20 pounds to anybody who had bank accounts from the Southeast? Did he tell you why that policy came about?
I wanted to discuss that, but I didn't get the chance to really do it because I heard that he only approved 20 pounds for the Igbos, even if they have $1 million in the bank, and then they will give them 20 pounds. At that time, I used to have one Igbo girlfriend that I loved so much I could possibly have even married her. It was from Ifite Oraifite. Ifite Orifite. Because I followed her to the place. Ifite Orifite. That lady, I will save the name because I don't want to offend the husband right now. So I did go to Ifite Orifite with her. So I knew that was her home. Now, one of his brothers had more than 50,000 in his bank account. And he was only paid 20 pounds. And Vicky told me about that. I said, what? How can somebody do that? So I was going to raise the matter, but I never got a chance to really raise it, to be honest with you. But I got to know about the policy. How could somebody have $1 million in the bank? And because you say something, you should get, at least it should be on pro rata basis. If you have 1 million, you get this percentage. But to just say 20 pounds across the board, I thought that was wicked. That was really wicked. that was something I would have loved to discuss with Obafemi Awolowo, and they would have been honest with me because the guy is down to earth, down to earth. I will never forget him. In fact, that was the greatest luck I have in my life, to have worked side by side with that man. Yes. So that was what happened. I never raised that question of the 20 man, but I think it was unfair.
Yeah.
That was not good.
Thank you so much. KJ, back to you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And I think you are really privileged because whether you love Awolowo or not, he was a great man. You know, whichever side of the divide that you are
I love him more than I hate him.
Yes, so I'm saying for whoever, you know, out there who does not, people are born great. You may not like them, you may not agree with them, but you can't take away what they've achieved. And that's the kind of person I am. I may not like everybody, but I respect what they achieved.
You recognize their positive side.
Yes.
You are like me. We are twin brothers.
Yes. Okay, so sir, my little question, because Rudolph just answered the one I want to ask about the 20 pounds. The other question is, we have a military in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And we have a government in place that controls the military and every other parastatal.
Okay.
I mean, arms of the military.
Yes.
But now this same government goes to a meeting. And in this meeting they are meeting with terrorists. Yes. And the terror chief comes with the uniform of a policeman. In fact, to be precise, an inspector who they had killed, taking his gadgets, wore it, came with his gun.
Yes. And they were negotiating with him.
And they finished having, they had dinner, they had lunch, they danced for them, and they went back. Then now, in fact, I want to put on record that we have lost more than 4 generals now in different ways. Now, a general died. Now, please follow my question. A general is killed in the field. And now the Nigerian media say that he died of complications because he didn't have medication. Now, then the same government that have the monopoly of violence goes to meet with these terrorists who came heavily armed.
Yes.
No question asked. Collected the body of the general and left it. Now, the reporting didn't tell us whether they brought his wife with them or they still had his wife in captivity. Now, can we honestly say that we still have an armed forces in Nigeria who is constantly losing their best and no action is taken, even when the government doesn't tell them to? Don't they have something to say? Is there no longer spirit of what do you call it now? Esprit de corps, whatever it is. Ekomorado is something like one for all for one. In other words, so what is really happening? How do you reflect what's going on?
If I can answer your question.
Yes, sir.
The people reporting what happened now, that he died because of other complications, they are not telling the truth. But there's no way you can hide the truth. Someday, maybe 10 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 20 years from now, the truth will come out, but it will be too late at that time. But it doesn't add up. When they said he died of other complications, I think they are too ashamed to agree that when we still have a government in place, that this kind of sordid affair could be happening under their nose. It was for too much for them to confess to. That was why they had to gather some nonsensical information and feed it to the public. Yes, because I saw a whole lot of things as the undersecretary in charge of army. In fact, I saw so much, even about the war. I'm talking about the Abagana disaster that was led by Murtala Muhammad himself. Now, in the official document, they document what really happened. But for the people who were there on the ground, the government will not let the secret leak out. For instance, part of the thing I got on the record, I think I could say it now because it's so many years after the Civil War. There was a point that the Nigerian military came to the idea of using cows. They get cattle, they fly cattle from the north and they allowed the cattle to go in front of the people with guns, with soldiers with guns. That was because at that time they heard that the Biafran troops had manufactured Ubunugwe bomb. Ubunugwe, they call it. Now, it was very, very effective. And it killed so many people before it dawned on them to do what I'm now describing, which was documented in the secret papers that I had privilege and privy to read because of my position. Now, what happened was that they felt that it was a very crazy suggestion to say, okay, let's import cattle, and let the cattle go in front. The cattle will go in front and detonate the bomb, Ubunugwe. And instead of killing the soldiers, it is the cattle that would die. And so many cattle died in the war. Of course, many of them were eaten by Biafran soldiers who have nothing to eat. They thought they were solving a problem. They did solve the problem, and the cows did detonate some of the bombs and kill them, and they ate them up. And then the soldiers will follow after them. It was a terrible disaster for Nigeria. And that particular arm was led by Murtala Muhammad, who later became head of state. Yes, we can talk about this now because of the question you raised. So a lot of what is happening, they won't let you know the actual truth, but you can't hide truth. The truth is like light. You cannot hide light. It will escape, but it may not come at the time that it will be most useful for you. That is what is going on. I am sure they were not telling the truth with that. No.
Dr. Wunmi, it's good you talked about this. I don't know if you can tell us something we don't know now about the Asaba massacre. What happened? Being that you had information on what really happened.
I didn't hear much about the Asaba massacre. The one that I'm so sure of, because I made copies and took it out myself, the Abagana disaster, they call it. There were other minor disasters here and there that nobody even spoke about. A lot. So the Igbos lost so much. But I love the Igbo. It's not because I'm talking to you, because we are Igbo. They are very resourceful. In fact, how they managed to keep that war going for 3 years, it's a miracle to me. It's a real miracle. It's like you are fighting with somebody that is fully armed with nothing, or with Koje. Somebody has an AK-47. You want to attack him with your dang gun. You have no chance at all. But it was willpower. And I think the person behind the willpower is there's one, Madiebo. Yes, because I know him. Madiebo was the hero of that one. In fact, he fought with willpower. Then he later became general under Ojukwu. Madiebo. That was a man. He fought, he so much believed in that cause. He fought with nothing. Olagbara. What I'm telling you. So I'm able to tell you what I'm saying now. Nobody ever thought that a person like me could grow up to tell this kind of story in this kind of conversation we're having. It was not the plan of those people, but God put me there to see it in his nakedness. I saw everything. I was the Undersecretary Army, and then Kipi Enodian. I'm mentioning these names because they might still be alive to testify to what I'm saying. Kipi Enodian was Undersecretary in charge of the Navy, and VK Bello was in charge of Air Force. Yes, at the time. So all these people, they are human beings. They exist with names. They can hear some of what I'm telling you today. Yeah. So, well, I think one way or the other, we are going to get somewhere.
All right. I think we take a break at this point so that our guests can take a break. When we come back, there is Stay Humble Akuwudike. And then we round up the conversation. It's been a long.
And Ovie, I get one short question.
And then Ovie will give Ovie another chance to ask another question. So
please don't
take a break.
About Benin Kingdom, Ovie. Move your glasses so I can see your eye.
No, I come. I know we are today for nothing.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. 4 minutes. So our guest can take a break. 4 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
issue. One time,
this is Rudy
to Singapore.
Ponko.
That was when Lee Kuan Yew was there. In fact, I never knew that Lee Kuan Yew ever came across Awolowo. But I later learned that Lee Kuan Yew was a classmate of Awolowo, and they did some courses together at the London School of Economics in London. So Lee Kuan Yew and Awolowo, they had a few things in common. I think while they were studying in England, they both decided to transfer, what we call the transfer of technology. Some of the things that they learned in England, they wanted to go back to their country and repeat it. And the two of them, out of so many other leaders of Africa, I think you can add Kwame Nkrumah to that list too. And some of the independent leaders of Africa who studied in England. But I know the three of them. Kwame Nkrumah, after leaving, I think, Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, went to Manchester and was for many years in England. And it was from England that he returned to Ghana. He wanted to do everything that was good in England. He wanted to transfer that something to his own country. The same thing with Obafemi Awolowo, and the same thing with Lee Kuan Yew. Now, I was saying that Lee Kuan Yew was allowed to rise to leadership in Singapore. Awolowo tried over and over again, but he was never allowed to rise there. And that was because the Hausa Fulani and the Igbos, because that is the order, they both conspired, ganged up against him, and made it impossible. So the only thing he could become was leader of opposition. And even when he became leader of opposition, he took it, hoping that in the next election, the opposition might be able to win. But that became impossible. Now, the question I ask myself is that when you have three people contesting to be president, you have Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ogbuefi Nnamdi Azikiwe, you have Obafemi Awolowo, and you have Shehu Shagari contesting to be president. And that presidency went to Shehu Shagari. There has to be something wrong with that country. I am not saying because I know Shehu Shagari. Shehu Shagari was quite a decent man. But when you talk in terms of education and experience in government, I don't think he had anything near close to what Nnamdi Azikiwe and Obafemi Awolowo.
All right, that was the last time you were on the show. You said a lot of things. There was one that we've been playing that I want to play for you and get your take now on. Let me play a little bit of that.
That's a great question. I don't know what is wrong with them all. I don't know what is wrong with them. Somebody asking for where you do your course and you are sure you did your course there. I agree with you. But a lot of what we hear, because you didn't hear this direct from Tinubu, because you know lawyers are very funny. Sometimes lawyers will say, you must not say this. I mean, you know what is happening to Donald Trump right now? Donald Trump that guy is walking himself to jail.
All right. So about Donald Trump, your prediction that he was working his way to jail. What happened?
Rudy, I must congratulate you. You know this world. You know some of what I was surprised when you were playing this thing. That is why we got to be careful in this world. Anything you know, anything you say, we live in a country where they say if you see something, say something. I've even forgotten all these things that I said, though. What to bring out there, but look what you and all this. Oh my goodness. And that's why I want us to be careful. I congratulate you. You are doing a wonderful job. In fact, there are two Nigerians that I see now, apart from you, because we work in close circle. There's one Edmond Obilo. That guy, that is something else. He is doing precisely what you are doing. You cannot hide the truth. When you listen to Obilo, Edmond Obilo's State Affairs by Edmond Obilo, if you go to YouTube, you'll find his name there. And this Olayiwola Alaga of the Yoruba War Center of the University of Ibadan. Those two people, I don't joke with them. In fact, anytime they are on, I must watch all their something. And if necessary, I will write a follow-up article on them. You have joined that circle, Rudy, I must tell you. I don't know where you are going. I am so proud that you come from a university located in my hometown, Federal University of Technology, Akure. You are a product of that place. But I was told you are an engineering student there. But today, I don't think you are doing anything related to engineering. But you are changing the world in your own little way. Now, to answer your question about Trump, I'm aware my children talk to me. Sometimes they are even scared for me. I tell the truth as I know it. In fact, I even had the occasion to write something positive about Donald Trump. Because I've never seen a man go for the presidency within so short years. Because I knew Jimmy Carter. I studied him, I wrote a lot about him. It took him almost 18 years preparing. And so was Ronald Reagan to run for president at some future date. And they did, and they won. This guy, Donald Trump, I think he decided to run for president the day there was a dinner, White House correspondent dinner. And Obama said something that shook him to his marrow, to his bones. And I think that must have been the first day that he decided that, okay, he was talking about it before, but he wasn't sure. But that day was the milestone. He decided to run for president. And he happened to know it's like a mind reader. We have to give that man credit because he's able to look at a variety of issues. He's not a genius like he wants us to believe, but he can look at a series of situations and pick a needle out of a haystack of grass. He can do it. He has the talent to do it. That is his strong suit. And that was what he did. In fact, he was able to hear a voice that many people in America could never hear. He had it loud and clear, and he put it to use. That was how he managed to to become president the first time in 2016 to 2020. Anybody who wants to dispute and talk stably about him, I'm not one of them. When I see a talent in people, like I'm recognizing in you, Rudy, this guy has talent. And he used that talent, and that is why he's able to do it the first time. And by some miracle, he came back again. He had that voice again, and he did it. He's now president today as we're speaking. And you have to be president before you can change anything. There's no way you can change anything in America. You could be the greatest, you could be Socrates, you could be Albert Einstein. You can't change the thing until you have the position in your hand. Be president. And he went for the jugular. First of all, captured the judiciary, made sure that the judiciary will have to be on his side. And he went there. Oh my goodness, that guy, he has something. But if there's anything bad that he's doing that I don't agree with, I know I cannot persuade him, but at least I will talk, I will document it. So that was exactly what is happening. It's true that I said, at that point, that from what he's doing, he might be going to jail. Well, I'm not saying that he cannot still go to jail, because you go to jail, you may not go to jail tomorrow. You could go to jail in 10 years, you could go to jail in 20 years. In fact, not only you and your children, the people you leave behind can suffer. So I know you got me there. But if we are judging by what is happening today, the man is on top of his game, but the game is leaking from what we can see. So is the report. I mean, the war in Iran now, for instance. We have to determine who is the winner, who is the loser. That may not be easy to determine today. They are signing a peace truce in Switzerland, either today or tomorrow and so on. Some people might want to decide who is the loser, who is the winner now. But we want to, in another 2 years or 3 years from now, we want to re-examine the subject and know who is the winner and the loser. And if the winner still remains the winner, okay. If the winner becomes the loser, we shall see. Yes, because time doesn't wait for anybody. So I thank you for raising that question. Yes. In fact, you can't make up story because they say pictures don't lie. But pictures have begun to lie now. I've seen pictures begin to lie now because what I used to hear before was that pictures don't lie. But with AI generated something now, I have seen people saying something that they never said before, but they put it in their mouth and their mouth will be moving. You think that they are the one who said it. They were never there.
Yeah.
So we have problem. That's another problem right there.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Wunmi. Let's round up. I have Stay Humble. I have Akudike, and Obi has another question. So 3 of them, after they ask your question or made their comments, you can round up your thoughts on this appearance. So let's go to Stay Humble. If he's still with us, Stay Humble, you're next.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, loud and clear.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I heard a bit about what's going on today's show. Yeah, I've not really heard much because I joined late. But I want to thank you for making our time to honor the invitation, because it's not easy, really, and to talk about these burning issues. And
thank you.
I want to also appreciate Dr. Damages for always bringing in.
I think we should call him Dr. Repairs now. This is
always bringing in people to enlighten us. Yes, what's happening in Nigeria now calls for huge concern. It's a cause for concern, and I think it's a problem that we need collective effort to solve.
Correct.
And yes, these things have been happening, and we've talked a lot about them. But again, seeking solutions is also very, very key. I would like to ask you, because we've had a lot of innuendos, a lot of conspiracy theories, some people will say, around all these things happening especially in Southwest now.
Right.
So do you think that there is a religious background to this?
Yes.
Do you think that some people are trying to push religious agenda?
Yes.
And very importantly, do you not think that this is a well-oiled, well-orchestrated, state-sponsored genocide of the Nigerian citizens?
Yes, I would think so. I would think so, and I will tell you why. I will tell you why, because it looks like a state-sponsored, and there are evidences to show that, because the powers that be, the Fulani fiefdom, the Fulani hierarchy, they feel their authority is threatened. And somebody said that Alhaji Dasuki, the former Sultan of Sokoto, once had such a major concern that he called Babangida, as reported, saying that the dissolution of Nigeria or the taking away of the power from the Fulani power brokers did not start under his predecessor, Abubakar II, because the son is there today as Abubakar III, the brigadier general, who is the Sultan today. But Dasuki, as Sultan, told Babangida that the Nigeria that was handed over to the Fulanis by Lord Lugard will not end on his own watch. And therefore, he has to be careful about what he does. And that was one of the reasons Babangida pushed for the annulment of the best and the fairest election in the history of Nigeria, which Abiola won squarely. He had to annul it in order to defer to the powers that be in the north. So, if we agree that is on, the threat still continues. In fact, it's more powerful now because in the time of MK Abiola won the election, but he never spent one day as president because the powers that be made it totally impossible. In fact, he lost his life in the process. But that was not the end of the issue. Today, we have another Southerner who identified with them as a fellow Muslim, just like Abiola, and who did not rock the boat too much to give them such a serious concern that they allowed him to win. He ran such a campaign in such a way because he identified with them so much, and it was a strategy, and he became president. Now, that was something. But even he's becoming president from the south, the Igbos too, as an ethnic group, they have talent. Any race that will produce a man like Ogbuefi Nnamdi Azikiwe, and some of the fine gentlemen, some of the fine people that I've met, Kenneth Dike, the professor of history who became the first vice chancellor of the University of Ibadan. And by the way, so many of them, Michael Okpara, there's no shortage of genius or brain in the East. And now, I will be the one to support that we ought to have an Igbo become president of this country. Why not? But not at the expense of the Yorubas. Yoruba can have their own time. My point was that if Buhari, for all his terrible mistakes, was able to have his 8 years, why couldn't Tinubu have his 8 years? But Tinubu cannot have his 8 years if it's 8 years of debauchery and nonsense. If it's not addressing the problem, because we cannot wait indefinitely. And that's why I'm saying that he must choke us. Why must we support you? What have you done to justify a vote right now? If you cannot do that, I'm not for you as a person. But I know that my vote alone cannot make you president or not make you president. It's too small. But that will not stop me from telling the truth as I know it. So, this idea of saying the whole of the North will serve and the whole of the South will serve. And in the North, where you are Muslim like them, they are going by their Islamic hierarchy. Anything that the Sultan says is final. It used to be final, but the North doesn't realize now. The old North that we used to have during the Sardauna Bello era is no longer the same North. There's no unity there anymore. They don't speak with one voice anymore because people are saying the lie. The Kanuri people want their own slice of the pie. And so are the Benue Plateau people. Yes, right now. Even the outsiders have woken up from their slumber. So the unanimity with which they were speaking before no longer exists. We ought to know that. So it's going to be difficult, you know, because the last time to have the unanimity of the power brokers in Nigeria was Abubakar II, the father of the current Sultan. The moment Dasuki was removed and replaced by Muazu, another person, and nothing happened by Abacha. Nothing happened. He killed that consensus they used to have. It no longer exists. And that is the way it's supposed to be, especially now that we have embraced the presidential system of government. When you embrace presidential system of government, you cannot continue to do things the same way or make sure that it's only one ethnic group where they will continue to dominate forever. It doesn't work out like that. Of course, we embrace the presidential system without understanding the nitty-gritty of what we embrace. We don't even have the discipline and the maturity to run a presidential system. I know America, there's corruption that's probably here too, but they still have some modicum of discipline and maturity to run such a place. For example, this is the first time we will have a president in America who will say, no matter what the public say, I'm going forward. No. I have lived there for 43 years. The America that I thought I knew is not the current America that we're in. And this phase will pass. It's going to pass. It will pass. So, I guess this forum is to educate the world, and that we have the YouTube and the social media to do it. It's a powerful instrument. And that's why I see people like Rudolph Okonkwo, people like Edmond Ubilo, people like Olayiwola Alaga. And there are many like that whose names I cannot remember right now, but those three I know. But the person I know best is Rudy Okonkwo, because we were at the Sahara studio of New York together. I was the oldest person to go out of retirement, and I said I wanted to serve under Pamayele Sowore, who is old enough, who is young enough to be my son. But I saw something in him that many people did not see, and that was why I offered to go work under him and serve, volunteer under him, pro bono, without charges, anything. I didn't receive a couple. I didn't know even whether people were paid. But I believe in his cause. I believe in what the man was saying. Even though we don't agree on every issue. He's talking about revolution. Revolution is going to be bloody. If it's going to be that bloody, I have some reservation on that. But on the main thrust of his argument, I think that guy was right. So I'm glad you raised all these points. And I'm glad I'm in this conversation, because I'm an old man. In another 10 years, I may not be here. But even if I'm not here, some of the things that you are recording today, just like Rudy just played something to me that I did about 3 years ago that I thought was gone. I thought I was talking to an empty air. He just presented it to me right now. I saw it, and I marveled. So even when I'm gone, when I'm no longer here, God is going to raise somebody who will continue the conversation and tell the truth as they know it. Yes. I thank all of you and I thank Rudy for giving me the opportunity to say my mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wunmi. Sorry, there's still at least one person or two people.
That's okay.
Okay. So, Akuwedike, just a question so that we can round up. We promised that we do this in 3 hours. It's over 3 hours.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rudolph, and welcome again. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
The last time you were here, I was in Nigeria.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I saw the playback Mr. Rudolph did, and I realized that I was on that panel, and that was from my house in Nigeria.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah. So I have just a question to ask you.
Right.
And I will try to make it as concise as possible.
Go ahead.
On the 25th of August, 2016, right, the Trent media in Nigeria published a news article.
Okay.
Governor Shetima created and funded Boko Haram, not me, by Modu Sharif.
Modu Sharif, I know both of them.
Yeah. So then the other one is on the 2nd of August, 2022, right? The Business Day media published a news article, how we brought in Fulani militias from Mali, Sierra Leone, Senegal, others to win 2015 election.
Yeah.
By Kawu Baraje.
I think I read it. I read it too.
So my question is, has these people been investigated and found not guilty? And if yes, when? If no, is this not treasonous?
Carl, that's quite a question, sir. That's quite a question. First of all, it is treasonous. That's the simple answer to your question. Because, and that's why I cannot go on all 4 cylinders to say that I'm backing Tinubu. No. Why did I say that? You just mentioned Sharif. Modu Sharif, I saw that thing. And I saw an article where somebody, I forgot the name now, he was found guilty of banditry. And the court was looking for him. And they finally found him in one of the boys' quarters. In those days, when I used to live in government quarters, we used to have about 3 extra rooms, separate room. Face me, I face you. In our boys' quarters. I used to put all of my family there, my brothers and sisters, apart from the main house. So I guess that was the boys' quarter of Shetima when he was a governor or something. It was somebody very important. And they traced that bandit there. They traced him there. And so far, I don't think...
Abiru Sokoto?
Yeah, okay. Right.
I think
they traced him there. What would that person be doing in such a place? And how on God's earth can Shetima now say that he doesn't know anything about that person who ended up in his boss quarters? How? That is indefensible. That is indefensible. But he still went ahead and he's still vice president of Nigeria today. There must be, if we want to open all the closets, we are going to get into trouble in Nigeria. So it will get to a point that, but not all of us can be silenced like that. For example, the question you have just raised now, nobody can silence that. It's a very valid question, very legitimate question to raise. And if you don't raise it, the generation of your children and mine will raise it, whether we like it or not. So it's better to come clean. There's something there. There's something there that we still to know what is happening. And maybe the hands of Tinubu himself are tied. But I thought what Tinubu was doing was that if you don't have the power in your hand, you cannot change anything. But you have the power in your hand now. And that's why I want to see, within the 4 years you have been there, what have you changed in black and white? We want to see it and see if it's something we can agree with, and that will determine whether or not you get our support in 2027 or not. That is where I am at. I don't know where you are at. That is my position. That is my position. But your question is very loaded, and I thank you for raising it.
All right. Thank you, Akwodike. One last question from Ovie, and then you give us your final thoughts. Ovie, go ahead.
Yeah, so I really want to appreciate you today. I think it's the KRS-One that said that if older people don't listen to younger people, they become slower in the older world. And if younger people don't listen to older people, we become slower in the younger world. But when younger people decide to listen to older people, we become faster in the younger world because they have advanced knowledge. And when older people to listen and learn from young people, they became faster in the older world because we have new knowledge. And sir, you are a great example of that. With your age and your recollection of your memory recollection and sharpness is something I shoot for. That at your age, I should be this sharp. So thank you. And Dr. Dameji, thank you to also be an example, regardless of how likely the attack you reach. I'm learning for you every day. Now,
thank you so much. I would have said Nzobu. That would have Nzobu. In the university in those days, I used to join. I ran in the student union too, so I'm a little bit involved in the student union politics, but not as much as people like Omoyele and the rest of them. But I knew something about that too. You raising a valid point. I thank God that I still have the memory. I still have the memory to be able to connect with people like you and discuss something intelligent with people like you. Because I'm getting old. I know myself. I feel it to my bones that my IQ is not as sharp as it used to be, but I still remember a lot. And that little lot that I remember, I want to share with people who know. So that one saw doing, one saw doing, like they say in Yoruba land. You give a tip of it, and those people who know how to enlarge it and make it something will do it. So that is my assurance, and that is why I never hesitate, as long as my head is holding on, to really put something in writing or join this kind of conversation to help our people know the truth and then be informed enough to be able to take reasonable decisions. Because information, like Socrates said, is tool for decision making. I'm in this business to share information with the rest of the youth of Nigeria. And I know many in my age group who are doing it. And I say the more, the merrier. Thank you.
All right, sir. So the little question I have is that from what you can recollect, for little you can remember during the Civil War, what do you think the role of MI6, MI5, and the CIA play during that period? I ask this question because I want to believe when you were serving as a secretary, you were in your early 30s or now. And at that time, most of these military guys, the general, the war front generals, they were also in their late 20s, early 30s, maybe at best, early 40s.
Right.
And I argue that they have little knowledge of the nation state work as at that time or geopolitics. So I believe there's a lot of influence from the Washington, D.C. and City of London. So what can you recollect about that?
Okay. Let me thank you for raising that question. You know, I had two options when I was finishing at the University of Ife, whether I was graduating from the University of Ife. I had two options, two jobs that I wanted to get after graduation. The first was to enroll as a soldier, as a second lieutenant, commissioned second lieutenant. Why? Because my own father, Samuel Akintide, Sergeant Akintide, was He was a foot soldier in the Second World War, 1939 to 1945. And it was because of his service in that war that qualified me to participate in the British Canadian Legion Scholarship that was advertised in 1963 around March. And I finished HSC in December 1962. And I was teaching at Olofin Grammar School in Idore. How did I get to Olofin Grammar School in Idore? I've never been to Idore before, but there was an Idore guy, Idore politician and leader. The name was Chief Akindeko. Akindeko was the Minister of Agriculture under Obafemi Awolowo. I was only hearing their name. But because Akure and Idore were in the same constituency at that time, he needed vote from Akure to be able to qualify to represent us in the Western Nigeria State of Assembly. But he was a close friend of my father. So anytime he's coming from Ibadan to go to Idore, he will first of all stop in our house, in my father's house. And I was a little boy growing up. So he knew that I was already in the HSC and that I was going to finish in December 1962. So on his way to Idore, he just stopped by my father's place and he saw me and said, "Why is Akowe?" They called me Akowe. I don't know why they called me Akowe. Then my father said, "Yes, he's back home. He's just finished his HSC and they are waiting for their result." Then he said, "What is he going to be doing between now and the time he will be going to the university?" My father said he doesn't know that he will be here, that he doesn't know what he can do. He said, "No, I'm taking him today. I'm taking him to Idore." I didn't know what. I didn't even like to go to Idore because I thought, why do I be going to Idore? But I belong to the generation who cannot challenge anything your father tells you. You have to do it. So, and Chief Akindaka was like my godfather. In fact, he was indeed my godfather. That was why I followed him to Idore. And when he got to Idore, I think they had, he just sent somebody to go and tell the principal of Olofin Grammar School to come and see him in the house. And the man came. The principal then was one Reverend Ariyo from Ondo. He later became a reverend. So he came to see Chief Akindeko, and Chief Akindeko told him that my son is here. He's just finished his HSC, and I know he will pass. I want you to give him a teaching appointment in Olofin Grammar School to come and teach. And Reverend Ariyo said, "Okay, tomorrow morning, I let him come." That was why I became a teacher at Olofin Grammar School. And that was why I met Aleko Akinyele from Ondo. Olofin Grammar School was the one going to sponsor him to go to University of Ife. In the meantime, I was still waiting. I didn't know. My father could send me to the university, but I was still waiting. It was around that time that this scholarship advertisement came from British Canadian Legion. And they said they wanted to give scholarship to children of ex-servicemen who served in the World War, who are bright, who are very bright, but may not have enough money. My father said he has enough money to send me, but there was a principal, is now Chief Ruben Famuyide Fashoronti, who is now 100-year-old. The guy used to be a principal of Ijutagbolu Grammar School. He was the principal, the foundation principal. He was the one who saw the advertisement for the scholarship. And he knew that my father served in the military. And he made a paper cutting of that announcement. And he brought it to my father. And told my father that I know that your son is in the same HSC with the last born of my mother. That is Rachel Fachonoti. Rachel Olatubosun Fachonoti, who is now today the wife of Samuel Oluyemi Falai, who ran for president against Obasanjo. Yes. That guy. The sister of the youngest sister of Fachonoti is now the wife of Oluyemi Falai, who is now Kabiyesi, the Oluabo of Iluabo in Akure local government. So that was why the man came to know that I just finished HSC and I'm getting ready to go to the university. So he persuaded my father. He said, please, let this your son apply. My father told him, no, I'm only a sergeant. How can they leave the son of a major general or the son of a colonel or the son of a major and come give scholarship to the son of a sergeant? No, it cannot be like that. They said they wouldn't consider my son. Chief Adjutant, he said, no, don't say that. He said, if you don't play lotto, you cannot win lotto. Let this your son apply first. You don't know the luck that he brought to this world. That was why he persuaded my father, and my father said, okay, if that is what you said, I will let him apply. And I applied. And then they did the interview in Enugu, they did in Kaduna, they did it in Ibadan. And they got 15 of us, 15 candidates. Out of those 3 interviews, they sent us to Lagos to go and do the final interview. We did the final interview in Lagos. It was a collective interview. The 15 of us were sitting together. And then they were asked, number one question. If we say so, then they will have number 2. When I knew that was what they were going to do when I got there, I decided to stay in the middle because I was afraid that if I was in the extreme, I would be the first person to be answering that question. And I want to be sure that even if I don't know the answer to the question, if I hear the answer given by somebody, I can wangle my way and be able to say something. So I sat in the middle. But one thing that saved me, I went for that scholarship. I answered all the questions. But there was one thing that made me special. Before I left home, my father told me, as I'm talking to you, I'm looking at the picture of my father in army uniform in the Second World War. My father told me, he said, this scholarship interview you are going to in Lagos, I've never been to Lagos at that time. It was my first time of going to Lagos. So they had to send somebody to accompany me to Lagos. I don't know how to move in Lagos. So we went to Lagos. But before I left, my father said, there are some people who might attend your interview, who are not even the children of soldiers, but who might claim to be the children of soldiers. He said it's quite possible that when you get there, they might ask you, can you show us proof that you are really the son of an ex-soldier? I did not even think about that. So I said, what would I tell them if they ask that? My father said, okay, wait, I got some medals. So he went and gave me his medals, all the medals he got as a sergeant. He gave me the medals and he gave me the number, the registration number. So I took that thing and went for the interview. You know, after they finished the interview, the last question they asked was that, yes, we thank you for coming for this interview. Please, do you have any proof that your father actually served as a soldier? Oh, my goodness. Of all the 15 of us, not one. I was the only person who said, yes, I have a proof. And then my father gave me his military number and some of the medals he received as a sergeant. And I gave it to them. They passed it on. There were 4 of them. There was a white man there. They passed it on among themselves. They said, I should stay apart. They said, sit down. we need to talk to you. That was the first thing that gave me a clue that I might be the one getting the scholarship. In the final analysis, the only one scholarship that went to Nigeria in 1963, I was the one who got it. And that was the scholarship I used to graduate from Obafemi Awolowo University. And because of that, Agbazikaine, who later became a general, he was a major then, he used to tour all the secondary school looking for people to recruit into the army. He came to Oyedokun Grammar School where I was, and he said, they are looking for recruits. Then I told them, I said, I'm the son of a soldier. I said, really? I said, not just the son of a soldier. I want to go to the university. I said, you don't have to go to the university. You can come to Jaji to train, and you will become a second lieutenant right away. So I wanted to go. I wanted to go and become a soldier. So I went to my father. My father loved it. Yeah, he said, yeah, that's a good thing. He said he will salute me. He said, because I'm educated. If I come back now, I will be senior to him because I will be a commissioned officer. We joke about that. So I wanted to go, but I then told my mother that they've selected me. Oh, I want to go to the army. My mother just broke into tears. What's wrong with you? I'm going to the, to the army. People, you should be rejoicing with me. My mother said no. He said, if I go to that army, if I go to the military, he will kill herself. And he meant it. And I'm the only child. I'm the only child he got. Now I don't have a brother, I don't have a sister. That was how my mother persuaded me, because I didn't want my mother to die. I love her. So I said, okay, instead of you die, I will not go. And that was why I decided to pursue becoming Your Excellency, the story that I narrated to you not too long ago. So that was, it was a long story. So, your life, as I'm talking to you, your life, you never know. You never know what may happen to what God has in stock for you. All of you listening to me, let God direct you. It was God that directed me. Because if I had gone to the military like my mother wanted me, my father wanted me to go, but my mother didn't want me to go. And my mother told me a story because I was trying to find out, why don't you want me to go to the military? My mother told me that there was a proverb in Igbo. Some of you might remember it if you are Igbo. The proverb says, what does that mean? It said, any mother that has only one child and allows that one child to go to the military does not have a child. He said, that is the meaning. That was what convinced me. I said, so if I go to the military now, it means that you don't have me anymore. I said, okay. I assured my mother, I said, I'm canceling it. I'm not going. I won't go to the military. I will go to the foreign office. I guess what I'm telling you today, if I had gone to the military as at the time, you know, I would have been involved in staging a coup. Definitely, because my mind at that time, my mindset at that time was that if you are doing nonsense, kill him. Get rid of him. I would have done it. So my mother was wise. He was the one who saved me. If I had gone to the military, like Joe Kasai, who helped them in staging a coup in Abeokuta, is a friend of mine. The coup failed, and they executed Joe Kasai at Abeokuta cantonment. If I had gone to the military, I would have done the same. I would have been robed in it. I would have been part of them because I was a hothead at the time. So sometimes you never know what God has in store for you. God was the one who directed my step. I wanted to become Your Excellency. That again was that again was cancelled by the Awolowo. He didn't know me, but he cancelled it. He said, no, they should put everybody that was employed on hold. And that was why I ended up being in the Ministry of Defense Army Headquarters. And that was how I came to know all of these army officers, including Obasanjo, Benjamin Adekunle, Achuzia, Madiebo, Odumegwu Ojukwu. I know them by first name. They may not remember me now. I haven't seen Obasanjo for a long time. He may not even remember me, but he might be watching this. So that was how I came to know all of those people, and it changed my life and my trajectory in a very fundamental way. So you are hearing my story, and I guess that this story might encourage some young ones among you. Let God direct your step, but make effort. If you say you want God to direct your steps and you don't make effort, you go nowhere. You have to make effort, but leave the decision to God and pray about it, and you'll be fine.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wunmi Akintide. That was wonderful, and I really appreciate the time you spent with us today. It's always good to go back a few generations behind and hear people who have lived the experience and have stories to share with us. We appreciate you, and we'll call you back in no long time to come back and tell us more about what you knew about Nigeria. Again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank all of you for listening to me. God bless you, and you have a nice evening.
All right. Thank you. We take a break, and then I'll round up and thank people who supported us and tell you about the guests we are going to have next Sunday.
I am adure lele, idu kwa samaka onyoma odika powder, idu kwa samuku onyoma odika fomu, idu kwa samishi onyoma odika pilo. Oh lo 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 lo, aturu bwebule wakamwa iwariwo. Ice. Rosa Olerio, Rosanna Olerio, Rosanna Olerio adikadimba. Adure Oleri, Adure Olerio, Adure, Aturu bwebule wakamwa iwariwo. Adure, Adure lele. Idu kwa samaka onyoma odika powder, idu kwa samuku onyoma odika fomu, idu kwa samishi onyoma odika pilo. Oh lo 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 lo, aturu bwebule wakamwa iwari.
right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And it's been a wonderful day. We thank Dr. Wunmi Akintide for being our guest. He actually spent over 3 hours. I hope people gained a lot of knowledge about Nigeria, the past and the present. I want to thank those that supported us on today's broadcast. I think, let me see. We appreciate all of you. Without you, you won't be here. We want to thank Oscar Blackbone for your support, Dr. Alexander Gomez, and Oriako Tobe for all your help. This is how we pay for this channel and pay for the people who are with us behind the scene working on this. I want to thank my executive director, producer, Show. He actually worked with me behind the scene for many hours to deal with technical issues that we were having, making sure that our guests will be able to join us. So I thank him for that. I thank the people behind the scene, the staff who help with the production. We appreciate all of them. And for you guys at home, I appreciate all of you. It's not taken for granted that you left all the games that are out there to join us today and be part of this conversation. Thank you. Those that are in the comment section, I read all your comments, virtually all of them. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. KJ, thank you for being here. You're going to do the second part, are you? Okay. So there will be an after show where KJ will break down what happened here, and you guys can weigh in. You know, those that are. I know there are some people who I see on the comment section. They were very shy about coming on the stage today, but I appreciate all of you. Ovie, thank you very much for being here. These are new people behind you. Anyway,
you're not new. Well, I think, well, in a way, they are new, but there is a connection. I need one to get one. I'm primarily concerned now, my governor, and you need Tinubu for him to stay in power, for him to come back. So it's it's a choice I cannot run away with, because the way that they go after this Paulo, if Tinubu come over Abuja, he's in trouble.
All right. We have to go. Anybody who wants to continue the conversation, we join KJ in the after show that will happen immediately after this. Let me play this video as we leave. I didn't get a chance to play it when I was talking to Dr. Wunmi. This is something I hope it's a new video, but it's from your friend over here, Asari Dokubo. Let's watch.
Yes. Something seriously is happening. Something very serious is happening. And our so-called political elites and leaders do not care. They're not doing anything about it. They feel very unconcerned about it. Our political elites do not care about it. Our people are left rudderless, tossed here and there by the tempests and the winds of the sea. Nobody cares. Every day we hear stories of thousands and thousands of Futajelong Kambari Fulanis being transported by every means of transportation down into our land, down into the Jaw Nation, down into Igbo land, down into Shekiri land, down into Ogoni land, down into Yoruba land, down into Edo, every day, in the most unthinkable factions, in their thousands. If you go to Bayelsa today, as I'm talking, all the fishing settlements and the farming villages are occupied and controlled by these fellows. We are job people, we are strong. Nothing is going to happen. A man is only strong when he's with his people. When he has enough number to overcome his enemy. We should not underestimate these people. They have our money with us. They have been receiving tons and tons of our money. Their brother Abacha stole and sharing it amongst themselves. A minister in a federation came to say that sharing the money in the north because there are no poor people in the south. And where are our governors? Where are our local ministers? Where are our women rights ministers? Where are our women rights lawyers? All of them, they close their mouth. But this is more sinister. This is more sinister. They are coming here. They are changing the demography. What are they coming for? You remember Osman Danfodio? How they came to Sokoto, to Gobiri, to Kano, to Katsina, to Bida. And what happened? They replaced the Abe rulers. They replaced the original people and took over the realms of power. They are coming. History is going to repeat itself. If we don't act now, they are coming. History is going to repeat itself. If we don't act now, they are not pretending about it. They are coming with war, destruction and death. They are coming to occupy our land. Why you cannot go to your community? In Obama, how many Obama people are at home? They are leaving their home and they are coming here. Obama is a village. You cannot come to Obama. Those of us who live in Obama, we are backward people. Buguma is a village. Abonima is a village. You don't care. You are not bothered. But when death will come, it will not only come for Dokubasari. When the evil and the tribulation will come, it will not come for only Dokubasari. It will come for all of us. I'm smarter than you. I know that I'm more prepared than you. And when it comes, I will also run faster than you. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. It's not grandstanding like Wiki. I caught 14 people grandstanding. This is beyond grandstanding. This is a time for strategy. This is a time for consultation. This is a time for meeting. Our very survival is at stake. We must stand up and defend ourselves, or we will all perish in the hands of these blood-tasty monsters who will give us the Sokoto treatment.
Ovie, Asari Dokubo will run faster than you.
Well,
forget the fact that you were running for Nigeria. Asari Dokubo is. This must be an old video. I don't think this is a new video.
Oh well,
that was before he became a king. I thought they made him a king recently.
Yeah, if it's trending now, you should know that.
Somebody sent it to me. I wasn't sure. I just found that interesting.
So anyway. If the video is trending now, just know that it's the time. This is the opportunity for everybody to cash out. So now you don't like money, you don't like money. That's why you know. But don't give us all that go kick in the mood. But don't they big city boys now?
I will see you next Saturday.
All right.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Woke up, tó fẹ́ kú torí ẹ̀. Ọwọ́ ẹni ló ti ṣàánú kọ́. Ayé la bá, ayé la fi sílẹ̀ sí. Ọ̀nà èyí yóò.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You're laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. This by the end of the year. How are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.